professional gamer, dominates a new game to save his sister from boys. In the immersive world of the virtual capsule exclusive game, where elements mirror reality, 300 million users experienced everything from scorching heat to bone-chilling cold. However, the game took a dark turn when a mysterious message revealed that the characters and users were intricately linked. Death in the game meant a parallel demise in reality. A tragic incident unfolded as a player, engaged in a fierce battle with a monstrous foe, was struck by a laser and perished within the confines of his capsule, echoing his real-world demise. Simultaneous deaths rippled across the global player community, prompting a dire ultimatum to clear the formidable 72nd floor of Dantalion, an extreme difficulty level that had yet to be conquered. Amid the chaos, Tang, driven by the desperate need to save his little sister, entered the game. Declaring there was no other choice, he assumed the role of a monk and embarked on the treacherous journey into Dantalion. At the starting point, Tang marveled at the simplicity of his character, only to be recognized by Hyunhee, a friend close to his sister. Hyunhee, managing the broadcast, offered support and crucial information to aid Tang on his quest. Mocking her appearance, Tang dismissed the importance of looks and focused on the mission to save his sister. As they ventured deeper into the game, Tang encountered rowdy viewers, annoying him with their constant chatter. Hyunhee reassured him that despite the noise, the viewers could provide valuable assistance. Tang begrudgingly accepted their presence and pressed on. Facing formidable skeletal monsters in the first stage, Tang's combat prowess astonished both viewers and commentators. Dismissing his skill as luck, critics were silenced as he effortlessly dispatched hordes of skeletons. The game seemed to shift, with monsters appearing easier than anticipated. Entering the second stage, Tang faced heavily armored skeletons typically reserved for the third stage. Despite Hyunhee's advice to strategize, Tang laughed it off and showcased an unprecedented speed and agility, leaving commentators in awe. With a mix of kung fu kicks and punches, he swiftly reached the end of the stage. The unexpected appearance of a giant skeleton boss in the third stage raised concern. Yet, Tang, recalling his past experiences, devised a strategy to exploit the boss's vulnerability. To the surprise of onlookers, he defeated the giant skeleton with the finesse of a champion. As Tang advanced, the world learned his true identity, King P, the master of Sincon and 5-time world champion. His renowned heavy punch dispatched enemies with ease. Opening the gate to the next stage, Tang encountered an enigmatic figure who halted his punch with ease, signaling that the challenges ahead were far from over. Years ago, Tang stood triumphant at the championship finals, a 5-time world champion in the game King P. As he emerged from the championship pod, basking in his victory, he glanced at the nearly empty bleachers. The game was outdated, and the glory of his championship felt hollow. A janitor ushered him away, signaling the need to prepare for the next game. Outside the city, Tang walked, reaching out to his younger sister Beolram, but received no response. A sinking feeling gripped him, suspecting she might be immersed in the virtual world of Dantalion. This 99% synchronization game, with its unpredictable nature, had taken the gaming world by storm, overshadowing the once beloved King P. Reflecting on their past, Tang recalled the tragic day their parents perished in a fire. He felt inadequate to fill their void, especially for Beolram. Amidst the memories, he messaged his sister about his recent championship win, urging her to join him for a celebratory meal. However, a breaking news report shattered the tranquility. Dantalion had accumulated 20 million fatalities due to a fatal error that killed users in real life. Panic spread globally as countries went on high alert. Tang urgently called Hyunhee, asking her to rush to their house. Upon their arrival, Hyunhee quickly checked Beolram's vitals, confirming her safety. The government took drastic measures, blocking Dantalion downloads, but the game already had over 300 million players. The news revealed the CEO's demise and the fatal error in the pain control system. Unable to force players to log out, the government urged evacuation. Hyunhee shared a terrified player's reaction, highlighting the chaos within the game. Another player declared himself the Messiah, vowing to clear the game and save everyone. Desperate for an alternative, Tang turned to Hyunhee, who explained that clearing the game was the only way to escape. With no other option, he decided to take on the challenge. Yun Taeyang, the 5-time King P champion, believed he could conquer Dantalion. Hyun-Hai, initially skeptical, discovered he had reached the 38th floor and was a semi-ranker intelligent streamer, Yun Taeyang's childhood friend and Baalrim's other guardian. Determined to save his sister, Yun Taeyang agreed to turn on his live broadcast, allowing Hyun-Hai to guide him. As he entered the pod, it scanned his body, creating an optimal environment, supplying vitamins, minerals, and even massaging his body during extended gameplay. With the weight of the world on his shoulders, Yun Taeyang embarked on a journey to clear Dantalion and free the trapped player. In the challenging world of Dantalion, Yun Taeyang found himself face-to-face with the 71st ranking Demon King, an enigmatic figure overseeing the 1st and 3rd floors. Eager to uncover the reasons behind people getting trapped in the virtual abyss, Yun Taeyang confronted the Demon King. In response, the Demon King cryptically advised him to find the answers above, climbing with desperation and perhaps discovering what he sought on the way up. In a fit of frustration, Yun Taeyang attempted to throw a punch at the Demon King, only to find his efforts futile. Hyun-Hai, his guide in this perilous journey, intervened, urging him to stay calm and reminding him that the game couldn't be finished in such a manner. The Demon King, undisturbed, presented 3 doors, each leading to different trials. Hyun-Hai then realized she forgot to explain the basic system of Dantalion. The game comprised 72 floors, and players had to ascend to the top to clear it. The doors represented various choices: blue for strength, green for recovery, and yellow for cold coins, which were crucial for obtaining equipment and finding shelter. Players often avoided the gold coin door, knowing that a game over on the next floor would render their accumulated wealth useless. With a nonchalant attitude, Yun Taeyang chose the gold coin door, dismissing the need for healing and reinforcement. His decision prompted notifications for achievements. Hyun-Hai clarified that, unlike traditional stats, achievements were pivotal in Dantalion, enhancing the character's physical capabilities. As Yun Taeyang progressed, he encountered a gloomy figure tossing a dice, a non-player character responsible for randomly selecting the stage, acting as both a map and a key. Entering the stage, he faced a horde of monsters, shouting and charging at him. With a tight time constraint of 30 minutes to clear the stage, Yun Taeyang's mission was to find the key, open the door, and advance. Hyun-Hai guided him through the labyrinth stage, formulating a strategy to free a non-player character while dealing with the relentless guards. Spotting a beautiful lady, she instructed Yun Taeyang to collect all the keys scattered on the floor and release her. Amidst the chaos, Yun Taeyang gathered the keys, attempted to open the door, but the monsters closed in, ready to attack. In a surprising turn of events, the non-player character swiftly parried the monster's attack, seized its weapon, and dispatched the threat, showcasing a glimmer of hope in the challenging journey through Dantalion. Having successfully navigated the labyrinth stage, Yun Taeyang and Icardi, the first knight of Thebes, stood before the freed non-player character Rudy. As Yun Taeyang questioned if she was the one they sought, Icardi confirmed her identity and expressed gratitude for their rescue. Rudy explained that if allowed to take her sister along, she would aid them in their escape. Yun Taeyang, focused on his goal, asserted that his priority was leaving the decision to follow up to them. Rudy revealed a shortcut, surprising even Hyun-Hai, who was unaware of its existence. Determined to escape, they pressed forward, guided by Rudy and Hyun-Hai alike. With the clock ticking down, they faced another mob of monsters. Yun Taeyang attempted to evade them, but Hyun-Hai directed them towards the confrontation. Icardi skillfully dispatched the monsters with ease, stunning everyone with her formidable skills. Rudy guided them to the exit gate, which had a triple lock and required time to open. A menacing roar echoed as a colossal monster appeared, blocking their path. Calming Rudy's nerves, Yun Taeyang stepped forward to confront the threat. Utilizing his knowledge from the King P game, he attempted to create a new skill on the spot. Astonishingly, the Transcendental Cyclone Advance effortlessly decimated the monster, leaving Yun Taeyang surprised at the ease of skill creation. With the lock opened, they rushed through the exit door just in the nick of time. Successfully completing the stage, Yun Taeyang earned 3 achievements. Icardi and Rudy expressed their gratitude, with Icardi offering her life in return as the head of the Central Knights of Thebes. Hyun Hai also informed Yoon Taeyang that non-player characters could accompany him in clearing floors. Despite the camaraderie, Yoon Taeyang, remembering his sister Baalram, insisted on parting ways. The commentators were shocked by his seemingly confident decision, while Hyun Hai questioned the choice of going solo. Undeterred, Yoon Taeyang entered another gold door, finding himself facing Queen Aquella from a distance, a seemingly dull task to satisfy the capricious queen. Aquella extended an invitation for Yoon Taeyang to enter her domain. Hyun Hai, recalling her past experience with this stage, warned that satisfying Aquella was no simple task. As people in the room strived to fulfill her desires, Aquella, growing bored, decided to stir things up by urging them to fight each other. Hyun Hai knew that Aquella was perpetually dissatisfied, and a final battle always loomed. Frustrated by the seemingly pointless endeavor, Yoon Taeyang dismissed it as a waste of time. Hyun Hai cautioned him about Aquella's strength and unbeatable nature. Yoon Taeyang, sensing an overwhelming presence in the room, suspected that there was something hidden in plain sight. Despite Hyun Hai's warnings, he approached Aquella with a unique strategy in mind. As Yoon Taeyang got closer, Aquella admired his appearance, sparking jealousy in Hyun Hai. Anxious about Baalram's potential reaction, she threatened to expose everything if Yoon Taeyang did anything inappropriate. In a surprising move, Yoon Taeyang, before kissing Aquella, revealed her true identity as Baksoon, causing shock among onlookers. Exposing the neck tag with Baksoon's name, Yoon Taeyang played his trump card. Commentators teased Hyun Hai for her jealousy, resulting in her banning them from further comments. Baksoon, in an attempt to bite Yoon Taeyang, found herself threatened with her head exploding. Aquella, enraged, punched the bed, demolishing it, and reverted to her true form, a small, trembling dog. Yoon Taeyang proposed a deal to Aquella. If he released Baksoon, would she be satisfied? Aquella agreed, and with that Yoon Taeyang cleared the stage. Reflecting on the encounter, he realized that facing Aquella directly would likely have led to his demise. Hyun Hai, angered by Yoon Taeyang's unconventional approach and perceived flirtation with Baksoon, led them out of the stage. In the distance, the Demon King laughed heartily, expressing amusement at Yoon Taeyang's unconventional strategy to satisfy Aquella. The Demon King then revealed that they had successfully cleared all 3 stages, paving the way for them to ascend to the next floor of the perilous Dantalion. The Demon King, pleased with Yoon Taeyang's progress, presented a graduation door and assured him that the next stage would serve as a sanctuary for player. Hyun Hai informed him that Baalram had been in the sanctuary for a while, possibly on a higher stage. Determined to reunite with his sister, Yoon Taeyang entered the graduation door. Inside, he discovered a report card from the Demon King, revealing a grading system for each floor. The highest grade, A, came with a reward of 50 gold, but Yoon Taeyang shocked everyone by achieving an S grade, earning him a whopping 100 gold. As he played card games and showcased his wealth, a commotion erupted in the sanctuary. Let, a non-player character, recognized Yoon Taeyang as her master and acknowledged his 100 gold. She guided him to the secret card shop and presented 3 rare grade cards for him to choose. Anticipation filled the room as Yoon Taeyang, aware of potential conflicts, chose the martial artist's belt, equipping it to a dazzling effect that caught everyone's attention. Feeling the weight of the rare card's consequences, Yoon Taeyang retreated to an inn to rest. He turned off the broadcast, allowing himself some respite. However, nightmares haunted his sleep, replaying the tragic fire that claimed his parents' lives. As he awoke in a cold sweat, Hyun Hai logged into the game. Yoon Taeyang, leaving the inn, shared that he felt great. As he entered the next stage, Yoon Taeyang declined party invitations, choosing to go solo. Some players attempted to follow him into the forest of the 4th stage. Andromelius, the demon lord overseeing floors 4 to 6, appeared and instructed players to find a scroll and locate Bosu. The journey to reunite with Baalram and uncover the mysteries of Dantalion continued for Yoon Taeyang, forging ahead into the unknown forest. In the next stage, the non-player character expressed discomfort with the group of players she was assigned to. She instructed them to find the bojas in the forest and collect 3 of them. Confused players questioned what bojas were and one player even shouted at the non-player character, only to be swiftly devoured by an anaconda. Unfazed, the non-player character warned that anyone else with complaints would meet a similar fate. She reiterated the task: collect 3 bogus, and she would open the exit door, but collecting more would be even better. The players, still uncertain about the nature of bogus, pondered where to find them. Yun Taiyang, however, took the initiative and ran far into the forest. Hyun-hai reminded him that he should have listened to her instructions. As the players scattered in search of bogus, Hyun-hai explained the importance of speed in the early stage. With time, the number of bogus would decrease, and competition among players would intensify. Yun Taiyang spotted the largest tree in the stage and, following Hyun-hai's guidance, looked for Arkashan's traces around it. Yun Taiyang, utilizing his unique approach, stomped on the ground, creating another layer in the game. He discovered a cave entrance and descended into Arkashan's den. Hyun-hai marveled at the realization that they were indeed in the giant snake's den, emphasizing that Arkashan wouldn't move during the day, providing Yun Taiyang with an opportunity. Players, seemingly controlled like zombies, followed Yun Taiyang closely. Hyun-hai recognized the mind control and was shocked by the phenomenon. Their leader, wielding a tentacle sword only available on the 4th floor, confronted Yun Taiyang, demanding his rare card to spare his life. In response, Yun Taiyang defiantly showed the leader his finger, setting the stage for a tense confrontation in the depths of Arkashan's den. The enemy leader commanded his mind-controlled followers to attack Yun Taiyang. Displaying impressive skill, Yun Taiyang swiftly dealt with each opponent. The enemy, underestimating Yun Taiyang as just a lucky kid with a good card, failed to recognize the true strength within him. Hyun-hai noticed the enemy's artifact sword, realizing it enhanced his strength, and warned Yun Taiyang about the mind control capabilities of the tentacles on the sword. Yun Taiyang, demonstrating agility and quick thinking, dodged the attacks and turned one of the mind-controlled individuals against the enemy. The cave shook and collapsed due to the force of their confrontation. Yun Taiyang rapidly ascended, escaping the collapsing cave. The enemy, desperate and now defenseless, pleaded for Yun Taiyang's help. Yun Taiyang, displaying a moment of mercy, extended a helping hand. But the enemy's attempt to retrieve the fallen artifact sword resulted in both of them being devoured by the giant Akashan. Barely escaping the Akashan's maw, Yun Taiyang continued his quest for the bogus. Hyun-hai explained that, with Akashan out of her lair, they could search for treasures more easily. Entering the lair filled with monster corpses, Yun Taiyang discovered 13 bogus, gaining achievements and growing stronger with each acquisition. As he delved deeper, he sought magic defense gear to withstand potential magical attacks. Spotting Arkashan's resistant skin, Yun Taiyang quickly equipped it in the forest. Meanwhile, Arkashan continued consuming other players and eventually succumbed to the artifact sword. Seeking a new host, the artifact sword fixated on Yun Taiyang, initiating an unexpected and potentially dangerous connection between the powerful sword and the determined player. In the depths of the forest, where rabbits feasted on the corpses left by Arkashan, Hyun-hai sensed a change in the air. She warned Yun Taiyang, who, fueled by the excitement of his new gear and the power obtained from the bogus, was ready for whatever awaited them. Elsewhere, a party ventured into the forest in search of the nest. As they explored, a colossal bird named Guijo Stan swooped down and attacked the group. In the chaos, one member fell victim to the bird's onslaught, leaving the boys frightened and fleeing, leaving a pretty girl stranded. However, Yun Taiyang, fueled by newfound strength and courage, leaped towards Guijo Stan with incredible speed. With a powerful punch, Yun Taiyang struck the bird from above, forcing it to release the pretty girl. However, the situation took an unexpected turn as the bird retaliated, attacking Yun Taiyang. Undeterred, Yun Taiyang attempted to utilize a hidden technique he had learned, inspired by Kakashi's teachings to Naruto. Unfortunately, his fingers became entangled with the bird's rear, leaving him airborne as Guijo Stan desperately tried to escape. The pretty lady looked on in shock as Yun Taiyang soared through the air, still attached to the Guijo Stan. In another part of the forest, frustration mounted among those who had yet to find any boja. With no success in their search, a sinister notion began to brew among them. Perhaps they would wait for someone else to obtain the Bojas and then engage in a confrontation to take them for themselves. The tension in the forest heightened as players contemplated this dubious strategy. As Yun Taeyang descended from the nest of Guizhou Stan, he found himself surprised at how far he had ventured. Within the nest, he discovered an additional 5 Bojas, bringing his total to 18 and amplifying his strength even further. Among his findings was a grotesque stone feather that could be wielded as a throwing knife. However, the forest that had once buzzed with activity fell eerily silent. Eon High noticed the unusual calm and sensed something larger approaching. Suddenly, a massive vanguard tiger emerged, only to be consumed by a more formidable presence, corrupted Arkashan. The corrupted creature, manipulated by the artifact sword, locked eyes with Yun Taeyang, launching an attack. Swiftly dodging its strikes, Yun Taeyang retaliated with a series of powerful kicks. To their dismay, they realized this was no ordinary encounter. The real Arkashan was being controlled by the artifact sword. Corrupted Arkashan unleashed a venomous attack, hitting Yun Taeyang's back. Yet, the protective skin of Arkashan prevented the venom from causing harm to his bones and flesh. In a daring move, corrupted Arkashan entwined itself around Yun Taeyang, taunting him with tales of devouring 20 people to reach him. Yun Taeyang, realizing the nature of the corrupted beast, used the stone feather to slice through its tongue, freeing himself. With swift precision, he poked the eyes of corrupted Arkashan and delivered a powerful stomp, causing the creature to explode and split in half. As the artifact's sword revealed itself, begging for mercy and offering its strength, Yun Taeyang remained resolute. Unfazed by the sword's pleas, he destroyed it. In a moment of reflection, Yun Taeyang considered consuming the corrupted Arkashan but decided to devour the eggs of Guizhou Stan instead, further securing his dominance in the ever-challenging game of Dantalion. As Yun Taeyang emerged from the intense battle with corrupted Arkashan, Andromalius observed the distant commotion and heard the clamor of people rushing to witness the confrontation with the giant snake. Yun Taeyang, bloodied and exuding a formidable aura, arrived on the scene. Sensing an opportunity to seize his Bojas, the onlookers, driven by greed, attempted to attack him. With swift and calculated movements, Yun Taeyang revealed a single Boju and tossed it towards the aggressors, causing one unfortunate individual to lose all his teeth upon impact. In a display of unparalleled combat prowess, Yun Taeyang swiftly incapacitated each attacker. Even magical attempts to freeze him proved futile, as his enhanced abilities brushed off the mage's efforts effortlessly. With the remaining 2 survivors paralyzed by fear, Yun Taeyang extended an offer: the Bojas in exchange for their lives. Terrified for their safety, they chose silence, and Yun Taeyang, satisfied with their submission, proceeded towards Andromalius. Andromalius, intrigued by Yun Taeyang's achievements, inquired about the number of Bojas he had collected. Yun Taeyang proudly disclosed that he possessed 18 of them, earning him a commendable grade. As a reward, Andromalius bestowed upon him a rare card, the power of regeneration. The status window displayed a cascade of newfound strength and accomplishments, causing Yun Taeyang to radiate with an otherworldly glow. Andromalius, amused by the unfolding events within Dantalion, continued to watch the evolving journey of the formidable player. In the dark and foreboding confines of the next floor, a young girl, draped in a vivid red hood, sprinted through the labyrinth of Block C, desperately seeking an escape. Suddenly, a creature resembling Diglett emerged from the ground, ensnaring her delicate feet. Undeterred, she unleashed her magical abilities, attempting to fend off the mysterious assailant. Amidst the chaos, she implored a bald man nearby to release her, only to provoke his ire by mocking his baldness. The bald man, fueled by annoyance, attempted to strike her, but his assault was abruptly halted by a swift kick from Yun Taeyang. Yun Taeyang, now immersed in the unfolding events, received urgent notifications indicating he was in a perilous locale known as Murder Street. His task: eliminate 3 blue-marked targets and navigate a safe escape. Glancing at his own head, he discovered a conspicuous red target, making him the subject of ominous discussions among shadowy figures in the distance. A mysterious voice instructed them to exterminate any encountered humans. Inquisitive about Yun Taeyang's strength, a lady inquired, and another figure, revealed as a tiger, offered a glimpse of his ferocity with a resounding roar. Yun Taeyang turned his attention to the bald man, questioning the significance of the red marker on his own head. The bald man explained that red denoted attackers, while blue marked defenders. Realizing he needed to locate and apprehend 3 blue mark individuals, Yun Taeyang swiftly grasped the gravity of his situation. Acknowledging Yun Taeyang's quick understanding, the bald man informed him that everyone was in hiding to evade being hunted. He spoke of the menacing beastmen, once 4 in number, but now reduced to 3 on this stage. These creatures, both animal and human, possessed intelligence and martial prowess, constituting a rare and dwindling race within the realm of Eden. Yun Hai elaborated on their tragic history, a falling civilization hunted by traders for entertainment. To survive, the beastmen had rejected humanity, honing their martial arts to retaliate against their oppressors. Advising the bald man to leave, Yun Taeyang's consideration for his fellow player did not go unnoticed. As the bald man expressed gratitude and departed, Yun Taeyang inspected his inventory for useful items. Meanwhile, a little girl observed him from afar, catching the attention of Yun Hai, who recognized her likeness to the Baalrim character. Grateful for Yun Taeyang's intervention, the girl warned him of potential danger from the beastmen and handed him a healing potion. Yun Taeyang, concerned for her safety, advised her to flee. Expressing her gratitude, the girl vanished into the shadows. As she sought her way out, the head of the bald man appeared in an alley, cradled by a beastman, a sinister harbinger of the hunt to come. One of the beastmen, detecting Yun Taeyang's scent on the girl, declared it sufficient for their purposes, signaling the commencement of a deadly pursuit. The hunt was about to unfold in this perilous realm. In the dimly lit cinema, the gruesome demise of the girl with the red hood unfolded on the screen. Observing the on-screen spectacle, Andromalius turned to his companions, revealing that the name of the tiger beast was Mute. Among the current bunch, Mute was declared the most intriguing to watch. Belial chimed in, sharing insights about the beastmen. She explained that their prowess was notable on lower floors, yet as they ascended, their need for cooperation revealed their limitations. Moreover, they displayed no inclination to join forces with other races. Andromalius countered Belial's perspective, asserting that the beastmen did not belong to the dimensional labyrinth. He sought confirmation from Dantalion, who, with a casual demeanor, acknowledged that at least the beastmen had made the first part of the movie entertaining. While munching on popcorn Dantalion proposed a bet, suggesting that the reward be exploring skill cards. Andromalius agreed, and Belial inquired about the conditions and clear rate. Dantalion proposed determining the strongest player as the condition, leaving the decision to Andromalius since it was her floor. Suggesting the reward of exploring skill cards, Andromalius nodded in agreement. Belial chose Mute, confident in the tiger beast's strength. Andromalius, however, placed her bet on Valkar, the wolf beast. Dantalion surprised them both by selecting Yun Taeyang. Shocked at his decision, Belial and Andromalius wondered about Dantalion's intentions. The scene shifted, and Yun Taeyang was shown searching for the key to the clock tower, scanning every corner without success. Yun Hai informed him that an artifact given to the tower held the key, urging him to find it immediately. Frustrated, Yun Taeyang expressed skepticism, questioning whether the key had legs to walk away. Yun Hai suggested checking a drawer, but Yun Taeyang, suspecting mimic monsters, punched the closed drawer. It sprang to life, revealing itself as a mimic. Mimic Valkar, detecting the noise, signaled the nearby beastmen, who entered the building but found nothing. Valkar noticed that Yun Taeyang was rapidly clearing factories and pondered if he was farming items. The beastmen, baffled by Yun Taeyang's efficiency, questioned why he was clearing factories so quickly. As Yun Taeyang defeated the mimic and obtained the key, Yun Hai urged him to hurry as the clock tower's hour approached. Yun Taeyang's marker changed to 11 o'clock, displaying both red and blue simultaneously. In the distance, Valkar awaited, showing a similar dual marker of red and blue. The pursuit intensified as the hunt for Yun Taeyang escalated. In the eerie confrontation between Yun Taeyang and Valkar, both adorned with red and blue markers, the ominous signals that they could kill each other hung in the air. Yun Taeyang, seemingly unfazed, inquired about a person named Biorim. Biorim Valkar, indifferent to names lost amidst countless kills, dismissed Yun Taeyang's question and coldly asked if he had any last words. Without hesitation, Valkar lunged forward, intent on ending Yun Taeyang's life. The scene took a shocking turn as blood splattered, painting a grim picture. However, the source of the gore was revealed to be a mere can of tomatoes that Yun Taeyang had thrown at Valkar. The beastman, aiming for Yun Taeyang's heart, had missed his mark. Despite the deception, Valkar admired at Yun Taeyang's swift and cunning moves, acknowledging the human's resilience. In the midst of the battle, Yun Taeyang shattered Valkar's sword and utilized chains from the factory as makeshift weapons. Valkar, revealing the true nature of his weaponry, unsheathed deadly claws, slashing Yun Taeyang's waist and threatening to tear him apart. Undeterred, Yun Taeyang skillfully employed the chains to entangle Valkar's arms, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. As the tension escalated, flames flickered around Yun Taeyang, and Arin emerged on the scene. Arin, possessing both red and blue markers on her head, taunted Valkar, stating that it was expected he couldn't handle Yun Taeyang alone. Valkar, conceding that he had been careless, faced the daunting reality of now dealing with two opponents. Yun Taeyang, feeling the weight of the challenge, contemplated the increasing difficulty of facing two formidable beastmen. Arin, expressing admiration for Yun Taeyang's resilience against her foxfire, unleashed her fox sorcery skill, transforming the crescent moon into a full moon. In response, Valkar revealed his true form, morphing into a fearsome werewolf that effortlessly shattered the chains that bound him. Howling in the distance, Valkar received Arin's command to rip Yun Taeyang apart, intensifying the perilous battle. As Valkar lunged at Yun Taeyang, the latter gracefully leaped high, avoiding the beastman's predatory strike. Arin, observing from the sidelines, couldn't hide her frustration, feeling neglected as Yun Taeyang's thoughts wandered beyond their immediate confrontation. Yun Taeyang, in the midst of evading the attacks, strategized on how to overcome Valkar and Arin, his gaze fixed on the full moon overhead. Amidst the chaos, Valkar and Arin launched a synchronized assault on Yun Taeyang, unleashing a barrage of attacks. Yet, with seemingly unnatural agility, Yun Taeyang dodged each onslaught with uncanny precision. In a moment of reflection, a memory surfaced within him, granting him a newfound clarity of perception. He could now see through the mana of Arin and the moon itself. With this enhanced awareness, Yun Taeyang concentrated his mana in his fist, a realization that did not escape Arin's notice. She urged undeterred Valkar not to allow Yun Taeyang the luxury of contemplation. Undeterred, Valkar pressed on, attacking Yun Taeyang. In a burst of speed and power, Yun Taeyang retaliated with a whirlwind circle punch, creating a gaping hole in Valkar's chest and shattering the moon to pieces. Yun Taeyang asserted the importance of eliminating wizards first in player versus player scenarios. In a swift motion, he turned his attention to Arin, his fist charged with mana. Arin countered with her foxfire, but Yun Taeyang dismissed it as lesser heat compared to real fire. Unfazed, he propelled himself towards Arin, ready to deliver a decisive blow. In the distance, Mute, the tiger beast, sensed a disturbance, halting his pursuit of Midoriya. He felt the simultaneous disappearance of Arin and Valkar's energy. Enraged, Mute vowed vengeance, pledging to cut Yun Taeyang's bones and scatter them into their grave. At the clock tower, Yun Taeyang, bruised and battered, decided to use a potion to recover some health and heal his wounds. Slowly ascending the spiral staircase, he reached the top of the watchtower. Inserting the key obtained from the mimic, he entered the room and discovered the coveted artifact. He on highs mentioned Artifact Great Machine. With a triumphant gesture, Yun Taeyang claimed his prize. In the distance, people pointed excitedly at the clock tower, frozen at the stroke of midnight. Meanwhile, in a dark alley, a bloodied and enraged Mute, the tiger beast, caught the attention of onlookers. As Yun Taeyang emerged from the clock tower, emanating a fierce aura, approached him with determined strides. Witnessing Onslaught Mute's aggression, Taeyang evaded the first onslaught. Mute accused him of killing the beastmen, vowing not to grant him an easy death and threatening to tear him apart. Taeyang marveled at Mute's power, realizing the beast's ability to shatter the ground with his attacks. Mute relentlessly attacked, scratching Taeyang's chest. The human struggled to keep up with Mute's speed and strength, barely avoiding the ferocious assaults. Taeyang attempted a counterpunch, but Mute effortlessly caught his fist, hurling him into a wall. Hiding from Mute, Taeyang received advice from Hyun Hai to run, but he knew escaping from Mute's tracking abilities would be futile. Mute, fueled by rage, demolished the building where refuge Taeyang sought refuge. Taeyang leaped, attempting to stomp on Mute, but the tiger beast caught his feet. Mocking him, Mute slammed Taeyang to the ground and delivered a punch, questioning if that was all. Hyun Hai anxiously observed from her computer as Taeyang's situation grew more dire. Realizing a loophole in Mute's behavior, Taeyang decided to exploit it. He covered himself in blood, masking his scent, and declared a saying from his past. Activating the greatest machinery artifact, Taeyang's body accelerated threefold within 1 minute. He unleashed the dragon warrior skill, striking Mute's jaw with devastating force, causing it to pop out of his body and instantly ending the tiger's life. Taeyang explained his reason for clearing the game to Mute, who had lost his rationality in his rage. Belial, in the theater, expressed anger at a human defeating a tiger and questioned the presence of the artifact on the 5th floor. Dantalion reveled in his successful bets and reminded Belial that humans needed advantages like artifacts due to their lack of innate mana and physical strength compared to beastmen. Using the regeneration card to heal his wounds and restore his mana, Taeyang triumphantly passed the 5th floor. Exhausted, he fell asleep on the ground. Hyun Hai, satisfied with his success, logged off from the chat room. Meanwhile, Andromalius arrived and found Taeyang amusing as he slept on the ground. Handing him a rare card, Andromalius disappeared, leaving Taeyang puzzled about the mysterious gift. The atmosphere in front of the prosecutor's castle was charged with anticipation as the devil's messenger, Messenger Bernstein, introduced himself to the gathered crowd. The next stage, the prosecutor's castle, posed a seemingly straightforward task: escape by reaching a clearing room in the middle of the castle. As the people pondered the apparent simplicity of the challenge, Taeyang noticed something atop the castle. Bernstein then revealed the existence of the crazy prosecutor, a frightening and aggressive boss monster with a penchant for swiftly dispatching anyone who crossed its path. Hyun Hai added that the prosecutor's activity radius increased over time, making evasion more challenging. Bernstein, sensing the need for cooperation, offered a valuable tip about an equipment-filled room at the bottom of the dungeon. The crowd deliberated on their plans, with a non-player character named Forward Toby stepping forward. Toby, taking charge, declared that everyone would enter the castle, leading to a collective sense of relief among the people. However, when Toby tried to grab Taeyang to ensure his participation, the agile player vanished before his eyes, leaving Toby bewildered. Undeterred, Taeyang sprinted towards the castle entrance, giving Toby a cheeky gesture before disappearing. A shocked onlooker marveled at Taeyang's incredible speed, unable to comprehend the swiftness with which he moved. Inside the castle, Taeyang swiftly descended to the dungeon's depths, dispatching monsters and collecting items with remarkable efficiency. From the horde of defeated foes, he obtained a single card, a Stormraiser, an uncommon grade card. Responding to a commentator's request, Taeyang activated the card, unveiling its effects. Meanwhile, within the castle, the people stumbled upon a device in a room, only to fall victim to a trap. Monsters ambushed them, causing injuries and breaking their equipment. Panicking, the group realized they needed more gear to fend off the relentless attackers and voiced concerns about the looming threat of the prosecutor. Toby, irritated by the dissenting voices, attempted to assert his decisions. However, Taeyang suddenly reappeared, questioning Toby's handling of the situation. The crowd, particularly those critical of Toby, hailed Taeyang as the first to enter the castle and a challenger to Toby's leadership. A new character, the wind magician introduced Ran, was introduced. Ran, sensitive to the flow of blood and whispers of the wind, expressed her dislike for sinister men. The stage was set for an intricate interplay of characters within the mysterious confines of the prosecutor's castle. In the midst of the chaos within the prosecutor's castle, Yun Taeyang confronted Toby about their group cooperation. Toby warned Yun Taeyang, suggesting he would get into trouble if he persisted in his actions. Accusing Yun Taeyang of sabotage, Toby attempted to attack him, fueled by frustration from previous mockery. Observing the mana pulsing towards Toby's great sword, Taeyang swiftly kicked it with his own mana, shattering the formidable weapon like glass. Toby, taken aback, realized that Yun Taeyang had been hiding his true strength all along. However, Yun Taeyang clarified that he hadn't concealed his abilities, prompting Toby to question his purpose in refusing to cooperate with the team. Yun Taeyang explained his mission, to descend from above and capture the mad prosecutor. Toby and the onlookers found Yun Taeyang's goal crazier than the prosecutor's madness. Toby, unconvinced by words, prepared to fight Yun Taeyang. Taeyang Ran, the wind magician, intervened, using her powers against Yun Taeyang. He skillfully evaded her attacks, but Ran grew tired of the encounter and voiced her dissatisfaction with Toby's lack of assistance. Yun Taeyang, charging forward, faced Ran's winds again, slamming into a wall. While he on high, keen on leveraging Ran's triple S-class capabilities, suggested making her switch sides. Ran urged Yun Taeyang to give up, but he vehemently shouted about the abundance of items downstairs that could be used to their advantage. The people hurried downstairs, leaving Ran, Toby, and Yun Taeyang behind. Ran, once again employing her wind magic, attempted to obstruct Yun Taeyang as he shut the door behind him. Inside another room, Yun Taeyang warmed up, preparing for the imminent arrival of the prosecutor. Meanwhile, Bernstein, calmly sipping tea, summoned the prosecutor, signaling the beginning of a deadly show. The cacophony of chaos echoed through the castle as the prosecutor, unleashed and merciless, slaughtered everything in its path. As the prosecutor rampaged through the castle, people were being slaughtered one by one, and those attempting to escape were swiftly killed. A nun prayed, pondering whether Toby had been right all along about the prosecutor's increasing madness over time. Toby, facing the bloodthirsty prosecutor, evaded a swing and attempted a critical strike by taking off his left boot. However, the prosecutor, filled with a bloodthirsty aura, slowly turned and punched Toby in the face. Enduring the blow, Toby couldn't give up. Activating his skill enhancement, the warrior spirit manifested, enveloping him in a green aura. Struck in the chest by the prosecutor's sword, Toby, determined, endured the attack as the prosecutor attempted to decapitate him. Ran, realizing the prosecutor's strength increased with every victim, used her wind to stop the prosecutor. Commending Toby for his efforts, Ran saw that, thanks to Yun Taeyang, people had fled underground, preventing a major massacre. Ran unleashed a windstorm on the prosecutor and urged the remaining people to run to safety. Enraged, the prosecutor threw his aura at the fleeing people, instantly killing them. The prosecutor reached stage 4, spiraling out of control. Ran, desperately blocking the prosecutor's attacks with her fan, feared for her life. She looked at Yun Taeyang, resting in the corner, and asked for help. Yun Taeyang, seemingly indifferent, questioned if she was talking to him. Sarcastically, Ran inquired if there were other people in the area besides him. Begging for assistance, since Ran recalled Yun Taeyang's mission to catch the prosecutor and vowed to support him. Yun Taeyang, skeptical, asked why he should trust her. Ran swore to the wind, her life, and promised to support Yun Taeyang without causing harm. Yun Taeyang, uncertain, consulted He on High, who vouched for Ran as the best non-player character in the game. Yun Taeyang demanded hesitation Ran swear to live for him until she died. After hesitation, Ran agreed, swearing her allegiance to Yun Taeyang and the wind. As the prosecutor attempted to slice her up, Yun Taeyang intervened, kicking the sword away and declaring that the contract was signed. Ran was utterly shocked as Yun Taeyang effortlessly deflected the prosecutor's sword swing, informing her that the contract was now signed. The prosecutor swiftly followed up with another strike, causing the ground to shatter. Yun Taeyang, grabbing Ran by the waist, jumped to a high platform just in time to avoid the swing. Confused and astonished, Ran questioned Yun Taeyang about his plan. The prosecutor, enraged, sliced the chandelier, and Yun Taeyang drop-kicked him in the face, sending Yun Taeyang backward. Yun Taeyang realized the prosecutor's aura acted as armor, multiplying his rampage strength by 2 for every 3 players he killed. The death count reached 15, escalating the prosecutor's rampage to stage 5, making him 32 times stronger. Other people arrived, but the prosecutor swiftly struck, instantly killing them. Then Yun Taeyang recognized the dire situation and asked Heon Hai about the time since the prosecutor's rampage began. Positioning himself in front of the prosecutor, Prosecutor Yun Taeyang prepared to sacrifice himself. Just as the prosecutor's sword descended Yun Taeyang explained the functionality of the Great Mechanics artifact with the ability to fast forward and rewind time. Yun Taeyang chose to rewind time by 20 minutes, reducing the prosecutor's rampage level from 5 to 1. The prosecutor, now a thin skeleton, was terrified by Yun Taeyang's unexpected move. Attempting to attack manically, the prosecutor found Yun Taeyang effortlessly dodging every swing. Yun Taeyang then used the card obtained downstairs, and a wind spirit supported him, transforming the uncommon grade card into a unique grade Stormraiser, blessed by the spirit lord of Arsal. Filled with a wind aura, Yun Taeyang engaged the prosecutor in combat, skillfully avoiding his attacks. Sliding between the legs of the prosecutor Yun Taeyang kicked him from behind, sending the prosecutor flying. Yun Taeyang unleashed the whirlwind strike, a move reminiscent of King P from another game. Delivering a final blow that made the prosecutor's head explode. As the spirit of the storm Arsal departed from Yun Taeyang's body, Ran looked down at him, bewildered and questioning the identity of this extraordinary person who had just defeated the prosecutor. In the aftermath of the intense battle, Yun Taeyang claimed the prosecutor's sword, obtaining a rare item, the vampiric katana. However, the pain from his wounds was intense, and Ran rushed to assist him. Holding Yun Taeyang's chest, she inquired about his well-being while Heon Hai watched, feeling a twinge of jealousy toward Ran. Yun Taeyang, however, surprised Ran by using the regeneration card to instantly recover from his injury. Ran, relieved and somewhat embarrassed, realized her worry was unnecessary. Yun Taeyang reminded Ran of her oath to the wind and the consequences if she were to break her promise. Heon Hai acknowledged Ran as trustworthy, and Yun Taeyang emphasized that she was bound to help him. Slowly approaching Ran, Yun Taeyang extended his hand for a handshake, introducing himself. Despite nervousness, Ran reciprocated, and they exited the stage, meeting Andromalius at the end. Andromalius, seated on a chair, commended Yun Taeyang on his exploration efforts while sipping tea. Yun Taeyang questioned if Andromalius had given him the card, receiving a nonchalant response. Bernstein advised Yun Taeyang to show more respect. Andromalius revealed their achievement cards, with Yun Taeyang earning 10, leaving everyone shocked. Ran, who usually achieved no more than 3, now had 6. Yun Taeyang felt a strange pain in his head, and Andromalius explained that it was a result of his soul expanding due to the achievements. Commentators, astounded by Yun Taeyang's achievements, witnessed a famous player streamer donating 1 million in real life to Yun Taeyang, acknowledging his impressive performance. Heon Hai was astonished that the 4th-ranked player Dantalion, had donated. Andromalius praised Yun Taeyang, offering an S-rank report card. She urged them to leave her stage, hinting at an exciting encounter with a devil. The door revealed their next destination, leading them to a unique tavern run by the devil herself, Belial. Belial warmly welcomed Yun Taeyang and Ran, expressing familiarity with Yun Taeyang's playthroughs. Yun Taeyang asked if she knew him, to which Belial assured him she did and hoped for a good performance in her stages. Belial offered them a variety of high-grade items and artifacts as rewards for completing the 7th floor. Heon Hai analyzed the items, revealing them to be imitations with reduced performance compared to the originals, but still helpful on lower-level floors. Belial informed them that they didn't need money, and the items were rewards for completing the 7th floor. Ran was stunned by the generous offer and asked for time to think. Belial granted them the night to decide and humorously suggested a room for 2, making Ran blush. Yun Taeyang decided to sleep, bidding good night to everyone. Everyone Ran agreed, and Yun Taeyang turned off the broadcast. As Hyun Hai read live stream comments, she pondered getting a manager for Yun Taeyang, given his rising popularity. Messages flooded her phone from worried parents, seeking help for their children stuck in the game. Hyun Hai considered Yun Taeyang's pain and decided to alter the vitamin levels in the capsules, worrying about his well-being but urging him to hang in there to clear the game.
The next day, Ran spent the entire night contemplating the selection of rewards. Belial then approached them, urging them to make their choices as there was no turning back. Yun Taeyang questioned the absence of legendary-grade items, and Belial clarified that such powerful rewards weren't handed out easily. Hyun Hai remembered the legendary-grade card's appearance, noting that nobody had ever owned one before. Yun Taeyang and Ran made their decisions, and Belial ushered them towards the door to the 7th floor, wishing them luck. Before entering, they exchanged glances and shared their chosen rewards. Ran had opted for the Crystal of the North Wind, prompting Yun Taeyang to express concern about its freezing effect. Ran, however, believed it could be a tactical advantage with a trustworthy partner and playfully coughed at Yun Taeyang. When asked about his choice, Yun Taeyang remained silent. As they entered the 7th floor, Dantalion appeared, expressing admiration for Yun Taeyang and revealing himself as a fan. Belial, jealous, ushered them to focus on the task. Dantalion, curious about their choices, guessed Yun Taeyang's selection. Meanwhile, on the 7th floor, demon lords, including the King of Dragons Balrog and Devil King Chimera, gathered. Dantalion was thrilled to see Balrog, and Chimera expressed interest in Yun Taeyang, eager to watch. In the Saint Apocalypse floor, where survival was imperative, Dantalion recalled the fallen angels' invasion in the demon world. Chimera marveled at Yun Taeyang's sharp skills, understanding his reputation. Balrog, however, downplayed Yun Taeyang as a mere human. Dantalion suggested betting on Yun Taeyang's success, angering Balrog, who disliked unjust actions. Belial intervened to prevent a commotion, and Balrog left, spoiling the mood. Chimera apologized for Balrog's behavior, and Dantalion expressed regret for ruining the atmosphere. As they calmed down, Yun Taeyang fought on the screen against the leader of the Celestial faction. Belial explained Yun Taeyang's unique ability to utilize achievements to the fullest, surpassing the capabilities of an ordinary person. Dantalion acknowledged Yun Taeyang's determination to push his limits in conquering the floors. At the 39th floor, a fierce battle unfolded as players struggled against relentless monsters. Fear gripped the group as they realized they couldn't log out, and their healer was on the brink of exhaustion. Desperation filled the air as they faced a horde of orcs, and their pleas for assistance were met with the healer's sudden disconnection, leading to immediate termination by the unforgiving game. The boss orc charged at them, but Biolrim, a skilled holy tanker ranked 50th, rallied the party. By activating a holy shield, Biolrim reassured the team that the fight wasn't over. Concern grew as the party lacked a healer, risking a wipeout. Drawing inspiration from his brother's strategies in the King P game, Biolrim gathered the party and executed a move that transported them down to the 37th floor, evading the orc threat. As they descended, Biolrim received a devil's challenge. Curious about the sender, she opened it and discovered Yun Taeyang on the other end, who had accepted the challenge. Ran questioned Yun Taeyang's choice of a consumable item over a rare one, but he explained that it served his specific need. Ran, contemplating Yun Taeyang's motives, wondered if he was seeking a loved one. Despite Yun Taeyang's ruthless exterior, Ran envisioned him as a determined lover willing to risk everything. Yun Taeyang urged Ran to join him in an elevator that appeared out of nowhere. The attendant welcomed them to the elevator stage to heaven. Viewers and Hyun Hai speculated on the choice of the 5th floor over the 3rd, citing its mid-level difficulty. Ran observed Yun Taeyang's unwavering focus on his goal, likening him to a raging storm. The attendant announced the battle against the commander of the heavens. Yun Taeyang engaged the commander in a fierce fist-to-fist clash. Meanwhile, Ran pondered her feelings for Yoon Taeyang and her vow to someone already claimed by another. Yoon Taeyang interrupted her thoughts, questioning her loyalty and urging her to fulfill her oath. Ran, torn between her principles and growing affection, cast a buff on Yoon Taeyang, ready to face the challenges ahead. In the fiery battle between Yoon Taeyang and the celestial commander, Weaver, flames engulfed the surroundings. Weaver, a formidable non-player character wielding a spear and manipulating celestial flames, posed a significant challenge. The heavenly flames were high-tier magic, bypassing some magical defenses. During the intense struggle, Yoon Taeyang had a vivid flashback to a traumatic event from his past. The memory took him back to the day when their family building caught fire. Outside with Biolrim, their father rushed into the flames to save their mother. A young Yoon Taeyang blamed Biolrim for the fire and even declared that he didn't want to eat ramen anymore. However, the flashback revealed the truth. It was an accident caused by Biolrim, who left the stove on while cooking for her brother. As the building collapsed, Yoon Taeyang was struck, and when he awoke, he found Biolrim beside him with a burn on her shoulder. The incident haunted him, unaware that Biolrim wasn't the arsonist responsible. Yoon Taeyang, acknowledging the pain he caused her, now felt the need to repay the debt and protect his sister. In the midst of the present battle, Weaver landed a spear in Yoon Taeyang's chest, causing concern among onlookers like Hai and Ran. Unfazed, Yoon Taeyang held the spear, urging Ran to send wind, intensifying the flames. Employing his time manipulation ability, Fast Forward, Yoon Taeyang accelerated the flames, summoning the wind spirit to aid him. Despite enduring intense pain, Yoon Taeyang burned Weaver into ashes, declared the winner by the attendant. Suffering from burns, he used his card to rewind time and recover from the injuries. Ran admired Yoon Taeyang's determination to save his loved one, prompting a confused Yoon Taeyang to question her about the identity of this lover. Ran, angered, revealed she thought Yoon Taeyang was climbing the tower for a lover and imposed an oath upon herself, only to realize he was searching for his sister. Yoon Taeyang, in pain, asked Ran for help, but she, embarrassed by the misunderstanding, walked away without assisting him. In the elevator, Ran faced the wall, grappling with her newfound feelings for Yoon Taeyang. Yoon Taeyang, unaware of her internal turmoil, asked the attendant about completing the floors, prompting the revelation that the demon lords were closely watching him. The tower held more mysteries and challenges for Yoon Taeyang as he advanced in his quest. In her room, Hai observed Yoon Taeyang's victorious battle against Weaver, witnessing him swiftly complete 5 floors, and his viewer count skyrocketing to 527,396 globally. The media had caught wind of Yoon Taeyang's mission to rescue his sister from Dantalion, with reporters congregating outside his house. Hai, aware of the increasing difficulty of the upcoming stages, anticipated more challenges for Yoon Taeyang. On the next stage, guided by Hai, Yoon Taeyang and Ran faced numerous monsters overseen by the demon lord Chimerius. The environment was frigid, and they encountered a train named Endless Express. Hai directed Yoon Taeyang to move south by 50 meters, but Ran, unable to see Hai, thought he was talking to a ghost and sarcastically referred to her as a beautiful ghost. Ran combined the rare item she chose on the 7th floor with her fan. As they arrived at the Endless Express railway, they learned about the mission to slay a dragon named Antara and reach the engine room, referred to as the Dragon Slayer train. The task involved overcoming various obstacles, including guardians, workers, and the ever-elusive dragons. Yoon Taeyang, being a gentleman, gave Ran a blanket to ward off the cold. Hai informed them that they needed a key from the officers to access the control room. Advising them to become guardians by slaying dragons, Hai warned about the unpredictable appearance of the dragons. Upon entering the train, Yoon Taeyang kicked open a door, catching the attention of workers who believed rats had rummaged through their supplies. As they approached the dragon's nest, Hai revealed that the dragon battle was imminent. The workers shared news of the returning food supply team, and Crusoe, one of the commanders, received a report of casualties. Desperate for recruits, Crusoe was willing to accept anyone, even rats. Meanwhile, in one carriage, a worker attempted to feed a caged kitty, only to discover it was a talking beastman with a keen sense of smell for his kind. The unexpected challenges within the Endless Express hinted at the unpredictable nature of the tower, and the trials that awaited Yun Taiyang and Ran. In the midst of a relentless snowstorm, a convoy of military trucks pressed on toward the dragon's nest. Ran, shivering in the cold ascent up the mountain, found solace in the blanket Yun Taiyang generously provided. Observant viewers questioned their dynamics, prompting Yun Taiyang to consider the possibility that they might be used as meat shields in the impending battle at the nest. Commander Crusoe called the team to attention and briefed them on their mission, retrieving a supply container 3 kilometers away, surrounded by dragons and newly hatched dragon monsters. To endure the biting cold, the team was given pills that activated dormant fire element mana in their bodies, allowing them to survive in the frigid temperatures for 5 hours. Yun Taiyang ingested one, feeling the warmth of the fire element coursing through him. The convoy soon came under attack by wyverns, a species of dragons. Chaos ensued as a worker attempting to flee was swiftly decapitated by one of the dragons. Yun Taiyang and Ran leaped out of the truck, ready to face the wyverns in combat. Determined to showcase his strength and catch the attention of the executives to rank up, Yun Taiyang requested Ran's assistance in executing a spectacular attack. Channeling his mana into a cannon-like form, Yun Taiyang unleashed a powerful blast that annihilated a large wyvern in the sky. Back in the train command center, operators monitored the live feed of the attack, witnessing the destruction of the massive wyvern. However, they detected an anomaly in the field, groups of 20 life forms moving toward the battle. An A-type alpha wyvern, estimated to be the leader of the dragons, loomed 50 kilometers ahead. The train was still 70 kilometers away. Solomon Arkraptor, a non, entered the command center, seeking information on the situation. The operator informed him of the concerning surge in the number of life forms, particularly concentrated along the railway. Solomon mused about the rapid evolution and increase in numbers of the wyverns, attributing it to the white dragon Antara. Curious about Antara's actions, Solomon anticipated the reappearance of the Guardian Corps commander. He suggested using the lizard hatchlings as resources, signaling a dire and challenging situation ahead. The aftermath of the brutal battle left the gathering survivors half depleted. Commander Crusoe commended the workers for their efforts, declaring them members of the Train Defense Regiment and the new guardians of the train. Yun Taiyang found the military formalities strange as he reported to Crusoe, feeling a bit off in the soldier role. Crusoe, curious about Ran's age, discovered she was 22 and decided not to pry into Yun Taiyang's age. The duo was assigned to the Vanguard Defense Battalion, an elite unit tasked with handling monsters rushing toward the locomotive. As they walked towards the engineering room, Yun Taiyang was approached by a senior who discreetly questioned his relationship with Ran. Yun Taiyang asserted they weren't in a relationship, but the senior, observing Ran's constant attention, remained unconvinced. Meanwhile, Ran faced inquiries from the 2nd Battalion, who assumed she and Yun Taiyang were a couple. Ran clarified that it happened naturally, pledging to live her life for him. The ladies admired her courage in expressing her feelings first. Gathering information, Yun Taiyang asked Ran if she said anything strange to the ladies, to which she nervously denied. Crusoe announced their approaching mission to smite all dragons near the train, promising the best soldier a meeting with the train's driver. Teleported to the roof, they prepared for battle as dragons circled the train. Yun Taiyang urged Ran to end the battle quickly, but suddenly, the wind ceased, and from a distance, the colossal white dragon, Antara, emerged. Crusoe, caught off guard, ordered everyone to their positions as Antara prepared to unleash its dragon breath. In the carriage, Solomon conversed with the beastman, suspecting him of causing trouble in the basement. Solomon offered to bring him to the engine room in exchange for studying his unique ability to withstand the cold. The beastman, intrigued, broke his chains and challenged Solomon, setting the stage for a confrontation within the train. As the wyvern breath threatened to destroy the train's engine, Yun Taiyang realized the gravity of the situation. If the engine fell, it would be game over for him. Determined to protect the train, Yun Taiyang attempted to block Antara's powerful breath attack. However, Ran sensed the overwhelming flow of mana being absorbed by Antara, and warned Yun Taiyang that blocking the attack was beyond his current capabilities. In desperation, Yun Taiyang summoned the Storm Elemental Lord, drawing an immense amount of mana that he struggled to control. The situation intensified as his body strained under the increasing power. Just as Yun Tailiang faced the brink of exhaustion, a voice reached out to him, offering assistance. The rampaging mana subsided, allowing Yun Tailiang to confront Antara. Exhausted and bewildered, Yun Tailiang questioned the mysterious voice. Ran, casually holding his muscles, observed the aftermath. Crusoe warned the people to avoid the divided waves of flames, revealing that Antara had not been destroyed but divided. Suddenly, a figure wielding 2 sabers emerged, commending Yun Tailiang's efforts and expressing intention to take over. With a swift motion, the figure destroyed the flames with his sabers, leaving Yun Tailiang in awe of his strength. Entering the train, the figure revealed himself as Duel, the Azure Dragon Sword's Guardian Corps commander, and was warmly greeted by Benjamin Arcaptor, the train engineer. As the people discussed the events, preparations were made for another potential attack from Antara. Meanwhile, at the Ulka Supreme Council, opinions diverged on whether to hunt Antara or consider their current struggle a victory. Solomon, arriving late with wounds on his arms, urged the council to take action. He emphasized that Antara would soon hibernate and return stronger, making it crucial to eliminate the threat immediately. Benjamin echoed the sentiment, urging the council to form a force promptly. The fate of the tower hung in the balance as the leaders grappled with the decision to confront Antara, or risk facing a more formidable adversary in the future. Bile Rim woke Yun Tailiang, and as he opened his eyes, he found Ran looking at him with concern. Ran informed him that Antara had retreated after the battle. Crusoe summoned Yun Tailiang and ran to the train's Supreme Council, where the Beastman arrived to discuss Solomon's research proposal. The Beastman recognized Yun Tailiang's friends by their scent and expressed his determination to avenge them. Ran challenged the Beastman, asking if he was any different from the people he condemned. The Beastman threatened Ran, but Yun Tailiang urged her not to waste time on him. Duel arrived, initiating the meeting promptly. He asked individuals with superpowers to cooperate in defeating Antara for the train's survival. Duel promised Yun Tailiang access to the engine room if he cooperated. Yun Tailiang, however, sought additional rewards, questioning Duel's terms. Duel surprised everyone by unsheathing his prized saber, a weapon capable of cutting through anything, even Antara's breath. Solomon questioned Duel's decision to part with such a valuable possession. Yun Tailiang boldly asked for the sword before the fight, leading to a moment of tension. Duel threw the sword to Yun Tailiang, stating he had already received his reward and challenging him to join the hunt. High on High explained that the saber consumed a considerable amount of mana and could only be used for short durations. Yun Tailiang offered the saber to the Beastman, who declined, stating they didn't rely on weapons. Yun Tailiang teased him, and Solomon teleported them directly to Antara. As they prepared to face the dragon, Ran expressed concern about going into battle without a plan. Antara charged an attack, and Yun Tailiang used the saber to effortlessly cut through it. The battle against Antara commenced, with Crusoe dealing with the little wyverns, and Yun Tailiang and the Beastman vying for the opportunity to defeat the wyvern leader and gain achievements. Antara unleashed a powerful attack on Solomon, and his father, Benjamin, urgently advised him to dodge. With Solomon running low on mana, he found himself at a disadvantage. Duel attempted to slash Antara's heart, but the dragon's thick scales resisted the attack, depleting Duel's mana and throwing him far. As Benjamin and Duel exchanged mocking remarks about growing weak with age, Solomon urged them to focus on the fight. Solomon used his smoke pistol to buy time, while Duel struggled to activate the saber with depleted mana. Eventually, the saber activated, and the scene shifted as both Yun Tailiang and the Beastman simultaneously attacked. Claiming credit for the kill, they engaged in a heated argument, challenging each other to a duel. Ran arrived, announcing that she had completed her part of the work. Crusoe intervened, urging them to assist in the fight against Antara, as the situation was dire. The three rushed to the commander, finding Duel, Solomon, and Benjamin exhausted from their battle with Antara. Ran observed the precarious situation, prompting Yun Tailiang to reveal his intention to land the final blow on Antara. High on High realized that Yun Tailiang was aiming for the title of the Dragon Slayer, a prestigious title granted to those who defeat Antara. Yun Tailiang summoned the Storm Spirit, and Solomon acknowledged the perfect timing for their arrival. Benjamin, supposedly having quit smoking, surprised Solomon by lighting a cigarette. Meanwhile, Duel recovered, and Benjamin offered him a helping hand. However, instead of helping him up, Benjamin called down lightning, instantly killing Guhul. Solomon, shocked by his father's actions, questioned Benjamin's motives. Benjamin then urged Solomon to return to the train with him. A flashback revealed the train being attacked by multiple dragons, with Benjamin attempting to defend it using a wrench. As a dragon approached, ready to attack Benjamin, Guhul intervened, killing the dragon instantly. The two teamed up to protect the train during that time. In the present, Guhul lay in ashes from Benjamin's attack, who then asked Solomon to return to the train with him. Benjamin claimed that although Solomon's actions were disgraceful, their objective had been achieved, and he would take care of those who caused trouble. Benjamin informed Solomon that he now held the sole power to make decisions for the train. After telling Solomon to relax, he mentioned that they could take advantage of Antara's distraction, even if it meant sacrificing a few people. Benjamin teleported them back to the train, leaving confusion and anger in his wake. Ran questioned what had happened, and they realized they had been manipulated into hunting Antara while the true objective was the assassination of the commander. Yun Taiyang expressed his anger at being manipulated and attacked Antara, joined by the beastman who attempted to tear apart Antara's eyes. However, Antara retaliated, throwing the beastman far with its tail. Yun Taiyang hesitated to use the saber, fearing exhaustion, but sought the Wind Lord Arasil's help once more. Arasil found Yun Taiyang interesting and granted him his will. Yun Taiyang wielded two sabers, completing the transformation, and created a huge tornado. Ran tried to deflect Antara's flame with her wind, and Yun Taiyang counted on her. Antara unleashed multiple fireballs, and as they faced the onslaught, a warm light appeared on the horizon. Arasil granted Yun Taiyang unlimited mana, allowing him to use the lightsaber to its fullest potential. Yun Taiyang sliced through Antara's flames and body, cutting the dragon in half. Inside the train, news arrived that Antara had been slain. However, Benjamin had killed many soldiers opposed to him, and Solomon was captured. Benjamin expressed his frustration with the current state of affairs. In the aftermath of the fierce battle with Antara, Yun Taiyang found himself standing over the defeated dragon's corpse, a mixture of exhaustion and introspection on his face. He glanced down at the saber in his hand, admitting to himself that this time, he might have pushed his limits too far. Running a hand over his tired muscles, he pondered the possibility of dependency on his comrade, Ran, and the subtle feelings that may have developed within him during the intense battle. Turning to Ran, Yun Taiyang revealed the grim truth about the saber, explaining that it was devouring his mana and could lead to his demise. The revelation brought attention to their exploitation by Benjamin, who had manipulated them into becoming pawns in a sinister betrayal. Despite Ran's reluctance to work with the beastmen, the urgency of returning to the train took precedence. Yun Taiyang's gaze shifted to Antara's lifeless form, and he began educating Ran on the valuable resources they could extract from the dragon's remains. From wings and scales for armor to bones, nails, and teeth for weapons, the dragon's blood could serve as a high-grade specimen for magic. However, Yun Taiyang harbored a more personal goal: to obtain the dragon's heart, a precious item that, when consumed, would grant an immense amount of mana. As Yun Taiyang extracted the dragon's heart, Ran recoiled in disgust, questioning if he intended to consume it. Undeterred, Yun Taiyang plunged his hand into the heart, revealing a stone that mirrored its essence. High on High explained that consuming the stone would naturally absorb its power. With a determined smile, Yun Taiyang swallowed the stone, experiencing a surge of mana that invigorated him. Inviting Ran to join him in returning to the train to clear the stage, Yun Taiyang was interrupted by the appearance of Crusoe, offering to guide them back. Meanwhile, in the train, a soldier reported to Benjamin that the rookies had slain the dragon. Shocked by the activation of the saber of Guhul by a rookie, Benjamin planned to eliminate them before their return. As the tension escalated, Benjamin, realizing the impending threat, took a moment to reflect on his aging body and lit a cigarette. Unbeknownst to him, Yun Taiyang, Ran, and the beast swiftly approached the train. Dodging gunfire, Ran deflected bullets with her wind skills, allowing Yun Taiyang to confront Benjamin. Impaling both of Benjamin's hands to the floor, Yun Taiyang rendered him unable to use magic. However, Benjamin, using magic through his mouth, launched a flame attack. Advised by High on High, Yun Taiyang managed to dodge the flames. Armed with the two sabers and fueled by the power of Antara's heart, Taeyang unleashed a devastating attack, severing Benjamin's left arm. To everyone's astonishment, Benjamin summoned the left arm of Atlas, vowing to end Taeyang then and there. In a separate scene, Chimera observed the unfolding chaos, realizing that the continuation of the stage posed a threat to the Endless Express. Concerned for her cherished narrative, she decided to intervene, snapping her fingers to halt the ongoing battle. With the characters frozen in time, Chimera contemplated how to prevent the destruction of her carefully crafted stage. After the intense battle and Chimera's intervention, Taeyang found himself teleported to a mysterious room along with Solomon, Ran, the beastmen, and Benjamin. The unexpected revelation followed as Chimera, the Demon King, introduced herself as the train engineer. Ran was visibly shocked to learn that the engineer of the train was a Demon King. Chimera, reminiscing about Benjamin's youthful appearance the last time they met, acknowledged the apologies exchanged between them. She expressed gratitude for their understanding, citing personal reasons for interfering in the challenges they faced. The beastmen, grateful for Chimera's intervention, shared that he had endured a great ordeal before their summoning. Chimera, revealing that they had successfully cleared the 12th floor despite her interference, promised to reward them even before completing the stage. However, Taeyang, displaying his bold nature, demanded extra rewards. Threatening to finish Benjamin if his demands were not met, he challenged Chimera's decisions. In response, Chimera unleashed her powerful aura, causing the room to tremble. Ran cautioned Taeyang against challenging the formidable Demon King, recognizing Chimera's immense power. Taeyang realized that Chimera's intervention was to prevent the collapse of her stage if he continued to pursue Benjamin. Chimera, while looking angry, laughed and expressed her liking for Taeyang, finding him intriguing. She granted him 2 more achievements and an S+ grade, showcasing his accomplishments. Chimera then allowed them to proceed to the next stage, cautioning Taeyang about the potential burdens of the dragon heart. Taeyang requested the beastmen to accompany him to the next stage, but the beastmen, disillusioned by witnessing human betrayals, refused to trust humans again. Chimera instructed Benjamin to return to the train, assuming that the situation was roughly resolved with the engineer's intervention. Disgusted, Benjamin criticized Chimera for eavesdropping on their conversation. Solomon, stopping Chimera from leaving, inquired if he could also leave the stage. Chimera considered the lack of successes for Benjamin and the absence of strong characters in her stage, but ultimately agreed, adhering to the principle of the dimensional labyrinth not rejecting challenges. Benjamin questioned Solomon's decision to leave, suggesting they could reign together, but Solomon expressed his desire to explore the truth behind the tower in the real world. As the scene shifted, Taeyang arrived at the safe zone, where a person awaited him, identifying herself as the Messiah. The unfolding events hinted at deeper mysteries and challenges that lay ahead in the dimensional labyrinth. Taeyang, Ran, and High on High stood before the exit door, their gaze fixed on the journey ahead. High on High, reading through the comments from viewers, questioned the identity of the Messiah. Memories flashed in her mind, wondering if this was the same Messiah she knew. Upon reaching the 15th floor safe zone, Taeyang was puzzled by the crowd gathered, seemingly awaiting his arrival. A sudden embrace by a girl, the Messiah, took him by surprise, leaving Ran shocked and jealous. The Messiah attempted to kiss Taeyang, leading him to carry her to the inn, leaving Ran bewildered. Inside the inn, they were warmly welcomed by Let and the maids, offered food and drinks. Taeyang decided to use the inn, prompting Ran to follow and intervene at the room's entrance. Taeyang apologized to Ran and asked her to wait outside, leaving Ran confused as she had never been invited to his room before. Inside, High on High turned off the chat room to allow them to talk freely. The Messiah revealed her journey up the tower, amassing fans and followers. Despite the real-life dangers associated with the game, people continued to log in. She asked Taeyang if he would join her, explaining that she belonged to the 1% of strong players. High on High emphasized the importance of trust, and the Messiah expressed her desire to team up with Taeyang and Ran, aiming to finish the game and save millions of lives. In a bold move, the Messiah jumped onto the bed, discussing the possibility of leaving her followers behind to join Taeyang and Ran. Taeyang, wary of her intentions, contemplated the potential interference in rescuing Biolrim. The Messiah left the inn after their conversation, disappointing her followers outside as Yun Taiyang expressed his unique goal of saving only one person. Inside the room, Yun Taiyang and Hai On Hai discussed their differences in goals. Yun Taiyang mentioned that if the Messiah interfered with the rescue of Biolrim, he might turn off the stream and handle the situation himself. The next day, Yun Taiyang and Ran left the inn, encountering the Messiah outside. Yun Taiyang warned her that he wouldn't be responsible for her if she chose to follow them. Disappointed, the Messiah waved as they entered the next stage, a city filled with wanted posters and bounties, initiating a challenging bounty hunt. Meanwhile, in the tower, a mysterious person named Yuri prepared for the arrival of the newly arrived guests, playing with wine and anticipating their next moves. Yun Taiyang, Ran, and the Messiah entered the next stage. The Messiah, expressing her need to eat, vanished from sight. Hai On Hai clarified that in the Messiah's terms, eating meant eliminating the bounties in the stage to accumulate the required 20 million points for stage clearance. After defeating a bounty, they had to return to the tombstone to collect the points. Surveying the tombstones, they noticed Schweitzer Angel, a powerful figure with a bounty of 10 million points, making her a significant player in the stage. Schweitzer Angel operated like a mafia under the control of the vampire organization, explaining the perpetual darkness in the stage. Yun Taiyang realized the gravity of the situation and sought guidance from Hai On Hai. Hai On Hai informed them that they needed to change their outfits before proceeding. Ran, frustrated by her inability to hear the ghost's explanations, expressed her discontent. In another scene, a woman in the alley pleaded for help, attracting the attention of two vampires who inquired about her blood type. Yun Taiyang, admiring the outfits of the vampires, prepared to confront them. Meanwhile, at Angel's dance club, people reveled in the vibrant atmosphere. Yun Taiyang and Ran entered, with Ran feeling uneasy in her unfamiliar attire. Yun Taiyang, however, felt at home in the club. The scene unfolded with vampires indulging in blood-drinking booths. Hai On Hai explained that Angel's gang produced V-hormone and awakening agents, transforming humans into vampires. These enhancements included heightened senses, regenerative abilities, and unique vampire powers. Realizing the formidable capabilities of the vampires, Yun Taiyang prepared for battle. However, Hai On Hai suggested an alternative approach. They needed to reach the deepest part of the club, requiring a special item for entry. As they ventured deeper, an ominous atmosphere surrounded Angel. Sipping blood from a wine glass, she sneezed and requested tissues. Suddenly, the Messiah appeared, holding a dagger to Angel's throat. Angel, seemingly unfazed, inquired about the Messiah's bold move and the potential guards in the vicinity. The Messiah, accompanied by her followers, swiftly dealt with the guards, prompting her to ask Angel if she could have what she desired. In the dimly lit room, Angel confronted the Messiah, questioning her motives. Was she after the heads of the city, the most powerful vampire who inherited the noble vampire blood? The Messiah calmly dismissed these assumptions, stating that she didn't need an invitation for tonight's event. Angel, shocked by the Messiah's awareness of the upcoming gathering, listened intently as the Messiah weaved an intriguing tale about V-hormone, the original recipe that could free them from parasites. The Messiah offered a deal: if Angel invited her for tonight's event, she would share the valuable information. Just as Angel contemplated the offer, an invitation arrived for the Messiah. Determined to have her revenge and secure the original recipe, Angel acknowledged the importance of the V-hormone, sealed in a 44-layered vault with an ancient vampire ritual. Only Angel's noble blood could unlock it. As Angel pondered the significance of the V-hormone, a guard entered her room, revealing that the vault had been raided. From a distance, the Messiah commended Yun Taiyang's skills. Angel entered the vault room, finding it cut in halves with a note left by Yun Taiyang. The note demanded an invitation to the event, and if Angel wanted the stolen item back, she needed to invite him as well. An invitation was promptly sent to Yun Taiyang, who planned to infiltrate the bat's lair. In the next scene, people arrived at the bat's lair, where a bouncer questioned names at the entrance. Meanwhile, the Messiah prepared for the occasion, noticing that Ran was absent from Yun Taiyang's side. Insisting on becoming his partner, she joined him in entering the event. The place was filled with high-bounty criminals, and rumors circulated about Angel's raided vault. Angel took the stage to welcome the guests and initiate the auction. The guests' blood types, along with valuable treasures, were presented for bidding. However, before the auction commenced, Angel needed to deal with the rats, Yun Taiyang and the Messiah, cornered by her armed guards in the tense atmosphere of the bat's lair. In the midst of the auction at the bat's lair, Yun Taiyang confronted Angel about her harsh treatment of the guests. Irritated, Angel ordered her guards to kill them. A little intimidated but not backing down, Yun Taiyang showcased his new saber, while the Messiah excitedly watched in the background. The commotion piqued the crowd's interest, adding an unexpected layer of excitement to the auction. Angel dismissed Yun Taiyang, claiming he couldn't buy anything without a single penny. Unfazed, Yun Taiyang reassured her that someone had generously lent them valuable items. Angel, however, anticipated the arrival of combat guards, believing Yun Taiyang was as good as dead. She continued hosting the event, hoping the guests enjoyed the small entertainment before the auction began. Starting with the Macintosh sword, Angel initiated the bidding at 5 million, and it quickly soared to 12 million. High on High was astonished at the extravagant prices, comparing the sword's cost to that of a whole building. Angel then unveiled the next item, the 100th skull of a human she had fed on as a vampire. The macabre offering, akin to some YouTuber selling their bathwater, failed to amuse the audience. Starting the bid at 1 million, nobody seemed interested until Yun Taiyang unexpectedly offered a bid. Angel, skeptical of his financial capability, was surprised when Yun Taiyang revealed the loot raid from the earlier vault heist. As the auction progressed, Yun Taiyang dominated the bids, exhausting Angel. The crowd's attention shifted to an item named the Bloodstone, rumored to turn someone into a vampire. High on High informed Yun Taiyang that to use the Bloodstone properly, they needed the original recipe for the V-hormone production ritual, or a legendary book in the city. The book contained a method to become a vampire without being bitten, allowing the vampire to be free of any master. Messiah raised her bid to 2 million and asked Yun Taiyang for money. The audience grew angry as Angel had yet to auction the V-hormone. To the shock of the vampire crowd, Yun Taiyang revealed that he possessed the V-hormone. Sensing danger, he asked Ran to get ready as she prepared a spell outside the building, setting the stage for a tense confrontation. The auction came to an abrupt halt as Yun Taiyang engaged in combat with the high-bounty criminals in the room, systematically eliminating them one by one. Each successful takedown earned him a considerable amount of bounty points. However, a massive bouncer approached Yun Taiyang, striking him in the jaw. Undeterred, the bouncer attacked again, but the Messiah intervened, throwing a knife at its head. The vampires rose once more, prompting Messiah to utilize wooden stakes as makeshift daggers, staking them in the heart and accumulating more bounty points. As the guards arrived on the scene, Messiah's stakes failed to eliminate them. In this critical moment, High on High signaled Yun Taiyang, who unleashed his skill, causing a powerful explosion. Simultaneously, Ran employed her wind technique, the 13 laws of chaotic strength of the divine power, creating a tornado that opened the sky, allowing sunlight to pour in. The guards were incinerated, and Ran earned additional bounty points for eliminating the criminal bounties on the vampires. Angel, hiding from a distance, was burnt by the sunlight, harboring anger and plotting her revenge. Unexpectedly, Yun Taiyang gave the Messiah a high five, surprising her. Messiah remarked that they got along well, but Yun Taiyang playfully insisted it was just for now. Ran joined the scene, asking if the plan worked, and an enthusiastic Yun Taiyang praised her, acknowledging her amazing contribution. In the background, the Messiah sensed something between Yun Taiyang and Ran. Blushing, Ran inquired if they had caught Angel. Messiah, confirming her suspicions, informed them that her subordinates were chasing Angel. Underground, badly injured, Angel was pursued by Messiah's subordinates. Despite their attempts to kill her for the bounty, Angel retaliated, killing them instead. Using their blood, she conducted a ritual to summon an entity named Sylvania. Outside, Yun Taiyang, Messiah, and Ran observed dark clouds gathering once again. The narrative then shifted back to Angel as she summoned Sylvania, who inquired about the reason for her summoning. Ran sensed a powerful vampire aura, prompting High on High to inform Yun Taiyang that they had collected all the bounty and needed to head to the tombstone immediately. A subordinate of the Messiah arrived, revealing that Sylvania had awakened. However, the subordinate was instantly killed, causing a blood explosion from the manhole, revealing Sylvania hovering in the air, looking down upon them. Tailiang questioned what Sylvania was, and in response, Sylvania awakened the dead vampires. Angel, armed with a Gatling gun, unleashed a barrage of bullets. Ran and the Messiah engaged in combat with the zombie vampires, while Sylvania executed her skill, blood circulation explosion. Tailiang used his saber to cut through the explosion and focused on targeting Sylvania. Sylvania, however, seized Tailiang by the throat, claiming he was the perfect meal after her long slumber. Tailiang sliced Sylvania's hand, but she instantly regenerated the limb. Sylvania summoned bats, which attacked Tailiang, questioning if he was fully trained. Sylvania captured Tailiang, intending to make him a vampire. As she attempted to bite his neck, Tailiang managed to grab her by the face and slam her into the floor. Despite Tailiang's resistance, Sylvania found him cute and entangled him once more. Ran, worried about Tailiang, watched as Sylvania spoke to him, expressing understanding and inviting him to become a part of her race. Sylvania promised him freedom from the relentless passage of time, claiming she felt the sensation of her heart beating for the first time after a long sleep. As she attempted to bite Tailiang in midair, Ran shouted his name in distress. Sylvania continued to drain Tailiang's blood, while Ran and the Messiah watched from the air, the anxiety in Ran mounting as she shouted Tailiang's name once more. Sylvania, overwhelmed by the emotions in Tailiang's blood, guilt, anger, longing, released him and ceased sucking his blood. Tailiang's veins felt like they were burning, and Sylvania urged him to accept her power and absolve his sins. Attempting to resist, Tailiang tried to punch Sylvania, but found himself abruptly stopped. High on High, observing from her room, was shocked at the unfolding scene. Sylvania then compelled Tailiang to kneel before her, emphasizing that a son should not defy his Sylvania. She instructed him to snuff out the breath of those who tormented him and offer their blood as a sacrifice. Following Sylvania's command, Tailiang rushed toward Ran and the Messiah. Despite Ran's attempts to use her fan against him, she couldn't halt his advance. Messiah, in an effort to reason with him, was thrown violently against the wall when Tailiang proved too strong to escape her entanglement. As Ran desperately called his name, High on High tried to wake him up from the chat. Sylvania then instructed Tailiang to stop the wind. Tailiang attacked Ran, who used her skills to defend herself. However, Tailiang's newfound strength overwhelmed her, knocking her back against the wall. Realizing Tailiang had ascended to a level beyond her reach, Ran decided to freeze them, halting their mana in the moment. With the situation dire, Ran approached Tailiang, desperately trying to wake him up. She expressed the importance of reaching the top of the tower together. In a last attempt to bring him back, Ran kissed Tailiang on the lips, hoping to break the hold that Sylvania had over him. As Ran's skill ended, a rain of blood began, and Sylvania observed the scene from a distance. Messiah, injured on the side, and High on High, watching from her computer, witnessed the events unfold. Ran utilized her wind magic and breath infusion, enabling her to enter Tailiang's inner self with magic. Becoming a wind spirit, Ran found a massive fire tornado within the heart of Tailiang. His consciousness was becoming hazy, and Ran, burning from the blaze, attempted to touch his soul, succeeding. In the external world, Sylvania sensed a tremor in the bond that connected her to Tailiang. She explained that when a person is bitten by a vampire, their heart stops, their blood turns cold, and their second life begins, during which they cannot resist the command of their Sylvania. Sylvania attempted to attack them with a powerful magic, but Tailiang and Ran were enveloped by a shield created by the leaf of the great mechanical device, rewinding time. Emerging from the shield, Tailiang stood with a torn dress, and a notification revealed that he had gone back 20 minutes in time, his heart beating again. Sylvania, shocked, realized that Tailiang had dissolved the vampire bond, enraging her. She unleashed multiple blood bombs, but Tailiang jumped towards Sylvania. High on High reminded him that he had 10 seconds from the freeze to activate his skills again. Without using mana, Tailiang punched Sylvania in the face and proceeded to unleash a powerful combo. As the mana freeze lifted, he skillfully formed a cross with his saber, slicing the dark clouds into the shape of a cross. The sunlight entered the city, burning Sylvania to ashes. Yun Taiyang declared to Sylvania that he had a long journey ahead and was a busy man. Ran, exhausted from the prolonged kiss, stumbled, and Yun Taiyang caught her before she fell. In that moment of being held, Ran felt a surge of love. However, Yun Taiyang, seemingly oblivious to the emotional tone, questioned what had happened earlier, stating that he didn't remember. Ran, still smiling, punched Yun Taiyang in the head, walking away as she thought of him as a silly guy. The ominous clouds that had shrouded the sky finally dispersed, revealing a canvas of cerulean blue. In the aftermath of the turmoil, Sylvania, her body battered and broken, declared with venom in her voice that Yun Taiyang's actions were unforgivable. Messiah, a figure cloaked in enigmatic authority, stepped forward and callously crushed what remained of Sylvania's form beneath his feet. As the dust settled, he presented a coveted item, the V-Hormone Manufacturing Ritual Manuscript. Eager to claim the powerful manuscript for himself, an angelic figure attempted to seize it, only to be met with the searing intensity of sunlight burning through the air. The stage was set, and Yun Taiyang employed the replay skill on Ran, prompting Messiah to confront him. The ultimatum was laid bare: join their team or face an uncertain fate. Yun Taiyang, however, defiantly rejected the offer. Undeterred, Messiah vowed to keep a watchful eye on him, promising a rendezvous at the pinnacle of the tower. As the narrative shifted to the next stage, a war between dragons and humans brewed on the horizon. Seeking refuge from the chaos, some humans hurried into a cave, only to discover that it was not the sanctuary they sought. The cavern, in fact, was the gaping maw of a dragon, devouring them without mercy. Panic ensued as survival instincts clashed with the harsh reality. The scene transitioned to the Valrak breeding ground, a sinister banquet hall stage where dragons feasted on human prey. Yun Taiyang and Ran entered the macabre setting, witnessing the gruesome spectacle before them. A sudden pang gripped to one's heart, and the demon Balrak emerged, fueled by a thirst for vengeance. He revealed his intent to claim Yun Taiyang's heart as retribution for the death of Antara, whose heart had been taken. However, the rules governing the demons intervened. Balrak was reminded that direct attacks on players were forbidden, and the consequences for breaking such rules were severe. Temporarily halted in his tracks, Balrak ominously proclaimed that the impending mealtime for dragon hatchlings would commence in the next 24 hours. As the ground beneath them gave way, the participants found themselves hurtling towards a perilous descent, with hungry dragons awaiting them below. The stage was set for a desperate struggle for survival amidst the jaws of impending doom. As the relentless dragons continued their feast on the hapless players, the demons overseeing the macabre spectacle reveled in the chaos. Amidst the despair, a desperate soldier contemplated suicide, driven by the terror of being devoured. A noble knight intervened, urging him not to give up. However, his words of encouragement were cut short as a dragon claimed the soldier's life, leaving the knight to witness the gruesome demise. Meanwhile, in the demonic realm, wagers were placed on the surviving players. Balrak, incensed by the demon's callous amusement and bets on the players, seethed with anger. Yun Taiyang and Ran found themselves in the midst of the dragon-infested stage, taunted by the menacing creatures. Yun Taiyang, struggling to control his mana under Balrak's influence, couldn't unleash his usual prowess, rendering his lightsaber useless. The dragons, each as formidable as Antara, relentlessly pursued them. Yun Taiyang attempted to confront a dragon with a punch, but his weakened state left him vulnerable. Ran, facing her own challenges, couldn't unleash her powerful wind magic due to a damaged fan and a cooldown from the previous stage. The situation took a dire turn when a massive dragon bit Yun Taiyang's hand, sending him airborne. Helpless against the dragon's whims, he was tossed and toyed within the air. Fueled by anger over Antara's death, the dragons played with Yun Taiyang like a helpless puppet. In the face of impending doom, Yun Taiyang, exhausted and battered, so ran as his sister, Biolrim. Determined to shield her from the impending demise, he embraced her tightly. Just as the dragons prepared to consume them, a sudden blizzard skill descended, freezing the dragons in their tracks. Out of the shadows emerged a mysterious figure. Yun Taiyang, on the brink of exhaustion, questioned the identity of the enigmatic man. The shadowy figure revealed himself as Solomon, prompting Yun Taiyang to ask if they missed him. The stage was now set for a new chapter, with unanswered questions and the promise of unforeseen twists. In the aftermath of the freezing blizzard unleashed by Solomon, Yun Taiyang found himself questioning the identity of the mysterious figure. High on High, ever the knowledgeable companion, explained that Solomon was the non-player character they encountered in the Endless Express stage. Intrigued by this revelation, she pondered how a field NPC like Solomon could ascend the tower. Solomon, breaking his silence, disclosed that he had undergone rigorous training and climbed the tower himself. Expressing gratitude to Yun Taiyang for saving him previously, Solomon revealed that he had become a skilled dragon catcher due to the encounter. As the trio recovered from their injuries, Balrak, monitoring the events, was taken aback by their swift recuperation. The demon lords, noticing the unexpected recovery of A1, Solomon, and Ran, speculated on their identities. Rumors of dragon slayers circulated among the demons, and the demon lord seized the opportunity to place bets on the trio, predicting the number of dragons they could defeat. In the stage, Solomon showcased his formidable freezing skills, rendering the dragons immobile. Yun Taiyang followed up with powerful punches, shattering the frozen creatures into fragments. The lethal combination of skill and power left Balrak seething with anger as his dragons met their demise one by one. Enraged by the turn of events, Balrak made a bold move, entering the stage with intentions to eliminate Yun Taiyang and the party. Dantalion, another demon lord, intervened, reminding Balrak of the forbidden act of directly attacking players. Dantalion proposed a solution, a bet. While breaking discipline was prohibited, making a wager was within the rules. As the battlefield dwindled, Ran, and Solomon, the dragons were completely eradicated, automatically completing the stage. Suddenly, a message appeared before Yun Taiyang, inviting him to a player-versus-player match with Balrak. Perplexed, Yun Taiyang sought guidance from High on High, questioning the feasibility of a stage admin engaging in a battle with a player. High on High admitted uncertainty, suggesting it could be a game error. With the stakes high and Balrak taking matters into his own hands, Yun Taiyang faced a dilemma. Balrak, seizing the moment, grabbed A1's face, declaring that there was no choice, the arena awaited them. Amidst the chaos, the rift opened, and Solomon, along with Ran, found themselves on the outside, bewildered by the sudden turn of events. Quick on his feet, Solomon froze the rift to slow its closure, grabbing Ran's hand as they leaped back into the portal. Inside the arena, Yun Taiyang was met with a forceful slam by Balrak, the beginning of a duel orchestrated by the demon lord. Balrak, seizing the opportunity, taunted Yun Taiyang, offering the people inside his stage a merciful death. However, his declaration was interrupted by Dantalion, another demon lord, who restrained Balrak. Seizing the chance to escape, Yun Taiyang managed to slip from Balrak's grip. Dantalion introduced himself as the judge of the duel and outlined the rules. Demon stats would match those of the player. Demon powers were unusable, and the battle would continue until one side was incapacitated. Additionally, the victor would earn rewards for their party. Dantalion turned to Yun Taiyang, posing the crucial question of whether he would accept the challenge. High on High, quick to discern the disadvantage, advised Yun Taiyang to decline the duel against a demon. However, Yun Taiyang, drawn by the tantalizing reward of reaching the floor of Biolrim, recognized an opportunity to find his sister. Without hesitation, he accepted the challenge. Balrak's stats diminished to Yun Taiyang's level, and the battle commenced. In a flash, Balrak reappeared behind Yun Taiyang, delivering a powerful punch. Swiftly blocking the attack, Yun Taiyang braced himself for the intense duel, with the demon lords eagerly cheering for the unfolding entertainment. In the midst of the fierce battle, Balrak, the demon lord, confidently declared to Yun Taiyang that he would make him feel the stark contrast in their strength. Yun Taiyang, determined to stand his ground, attempted to block Balrak's powerful punch, only to find himself with a broken bone. Wincing from the pain, he quickly set about fixing his fractured arm, determined to continue the fight. Despite the intense pain, Yun Taiyang pressed on, connecting fists with Balrak in a flurry of strikes. Outside the arena, Solomon and Ran could only watch helplessly, as the barrier separating them prevented any interference. Ran inquired if the fight was evenly matched, but Solomon, keenly observing the struggle, sensed that Yun Taiyang was grappling against Balrak's overwhelming strength. Yoon Tae-young, refusing to succumb, unleashed his dragon fist skill. However, Balrak effortlessly halted the attack, catching Yoon Tae-young's fist in his formidable grip. Balrak, mocking his opponent, announced his intention to showcase the real power of the dragon fist. The ensuing onslaught left Yoon Tae-young heavily damaged, grappling with the realization that the battle was far from even. In a pivotal moment, a flashback unfolded, revealing Yoon Tae-young's gaming origins. His experience in King P game, where he rapidly copied the movements of a level 89 player and emerged victorious, played in his mind. Drawing strength from this memory, Yoon Tae-young resolved to make Balrak's skills his own. With renewed determination, Yoon Tae-young stood tall, ready to emulate and adapt Balrak's techniques. Miraculously, he flawlessly replicated Balrak's movements, striking his helmet and revealing the Demon Lord's face. Balrak, angered by this unexpected turn, unleashed a powerful skill, challenging Yoon Tae-young to copy it if he could. The arena crackled with anticipation as the battle reached a pivotal moment. As the intense battle between Yoon Tae-young and Balrak reached its climax, Balrak unleashed a formidable skill at tier 66. Yoon Tae-young, suddenly overwhelmed by a sharp pain in his chest, discovered that the heart of Antara had merged with his own. The arena trembled and erupted into a burst of energy, shocking Balrak as Yoon Tae-young underwent a transformation, becoming half-dragon. Solomon observed with keen interest, recognizing the perfect fusion of Antara's mana with Yoon Tae-young's. Empowered by this new form, Yoon Tae-young prepared to retaliate against Balrak, who acknowledged him as an intriguing opponent. The two clashed with explosive skills, causing the arena to glow with fiery intensity. In the heat of the battle, Balrak decided to unleash his full might against Yoon Tae-young. Their exchange of massive strikes culminated in Yoon Tae-young being slammed into a wall, rendering him unconscious. However, a flashback revealed that Dantalion had intervened, saving Yoon Tae-young from the devastating blow. Dantalion confronted Balrak, declaring that he had lost the challenge for utilizing his demon powers against a player. Dantalion demanded Balrak's admission of fault, which the Demon Lord begrudgingly provided. Yoon Tae-young was declared the winner of the challenge. Solomon and Ran rushed to Yoon Tae-young's side, who, upon regaining consciousness, questioned the outcome of the fight. Balrak conceded the victory to Yoon Tae-young and warned that he would be watching him closely. Dantalion, true to his word, announced that he would transport them to the 38th floor as the promised reward for winning the fight. However, as the Demon Lords observed from another dimension, an unknown entity snapped its fingers, triggering a countdown. Breaking news reached Earth, displaying a timer for everyone in Dantalion. The chilling revelation was that players had only 1 week to live, and Yoon Tae-young found himself at the center of an ominous question. Would he be the last player of the game? The stage was set for a new and perilous chapter in the game's unfolding narrative. As Dantalion prepared to transport Yoon Tae-young, Ran, and Solomon to the mysterious 38th floor of the tower, he opened a mystical dimensional magic that traversed the various floors. Before sending them off, Dantalion bestowed gifts upon them. Yoon Tae-young received a new outfit, as did Ran, while Solomon had already received something from Chimera. Curious about Dantalion's motives, Yoon Tae-young questioned why the Demon Lord was helping them. Dantalion cryptically explained that he wished to witness the end of the game and urged them to fulfill expectations. With that, the trio entered the portal, leaving behind the familiar floors they had traversed. High on High informed them that the 38th floor held no information, as no players had ventured that far. Solomon, feeling that all debts were paid, expressed his intention to go his separate way. However, as he walked away, a trap was triggered, ensnaring all three of them. Yoon Tae-young found himself resting on Rant's bosom as they were cornered by orcs, who planned to bring them to the Lord of the Blood Clouds. Before the orcs could carry out their intentions, an unexpected savior appeared. Arrows struck down the orcs, and a group of blue-skinned humans, accompanied by knights, emerged on the scene. One lady knight welcomed Yoon Tae-young and urged them to head to that floor of war. The scene shifted as the orcs reported to the Lord of the Blood Clouds, informing him of the human invasion. Determined, the Lord of the Blood Clouds ordered his forces to prepare for war, setting the stage for a new conflict on the 38th floor of the tower. The Lady Knight, who introduced herself as a seasoned warrior engaged in a centuries-old war with the orcs, explained her mission to rescue players who had become captives in the middle zone of the battle. Yoon Tae-young, eager to find information about Biolrim, asked the Lady Knight if she had encountered the player. She suggested discussing the matter inside the tent. Upon entering the tent, Yun Taiyang discovered numerous soldiers recovering from injuries. The Lady Knight directed his attention to one of the soldiers, and Yun Taiyang questioned him about Biolrim. The soldier, a former companion of Biolrim, informed Yun Taiyang that she had attempted to rescue him but ended up captured by the orcs. In a burst of determination, Yun Taiyang left the tent, declaring his intent to save Biolrim on his own. The Lady Knight and the wounded soldier urged caution, warning about the perilous cloud of blood surrounding the orcs' camp. Yun Taiyang, however, asserted that he was not alone, with Solomon and Ran agreeing to accompany him. Concerned for their safety, the Lady Knight advised against recklessness, emphasizing the need for a plan. Another knight joined the conversation, reminding them that even in urgent situations, caution was crucial. Yun Taiyang, undeterred, expressed his determination to rescue Biolrim. The scene shifted to a prison where a girl contemplated their uncertain fate. Observing Biolrim's efforts to break the bars with a stone, the girl realized the challenges they faced. Suddenly, the bars broke, and Biolrim, covered in blood from her attempts, revealed her success. Using her divine light, Biolrim rallied the captives to follow her. In another scene, an army of blue-skinned humans assembled for war. The blood cloud and the orcs observed from a distance as the blue army charged, signaling the beginning of a fierce and decisive battle. The stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of both players and the ongoing war with the orcs. The clash between the blue army and the orcs erupted into a chaotic battlefield, with death prevailing on both sides. The Lady Knight rallied her troops, urging them to stand firm against the relentless orc onslaught. Blood Cloud, observing from afar, declared that death awaited those who feared war, encouraging the orcs to press on. The orcs sounded the horn, intensifying the battle. A giant orc confronted the Lady Knight, overpowering her and knocking her to the ground. As the giant orc prepared to deliver a crushing blow, Yun Taiyang intervened with a radiant skill attack, saving the Lady Knight from imminent peril. Meanwhile, Blood Cloud rampaged through the battle, systematically taking down the knights one by one. A knight, facing Blood Cloud, questioned the purpose of their relentless fighting and the reason that had driven them into conflict. In a moment of shared realization, they vowed to bring an end to the strife. In the prison, Biolrim led the escaped prisoners, and the girl harbored fears about their safety. She expressed concern that if caught, the orcs would subject them to cruel torture. Biolrim, sensing the girl's trepidation, asked if she was a knight. The girl admitted to being an apprentice who had never experienced a battlefield. In a show of trust, Biolrim handed her a sword, acknowledging her dedication to practice, and encouraged her to join the fight. Suddenly, Biolrim halted, sensing orcs approaching. Overhearing their conversation, Biolrim learned that even the prison guards had joined the war, and the orcs discussed a mysterious player wreaking havoc on the battlefield. Intrigued, Biolrim wondered about the identity of this enigmatic player. As the orcs discovered the escaped prisoners, Biolrim rallied her group, shouting for them to prepare for battle. Back on the battlefield, Blood Cloud defeated a hero knight. Yun Taiyang approached, confronting him and demanding the release of Biolrim. The stage was set for a direct confrontation between Yun Taiyang and Blood Cloud, with the fate of Biolrim hanging in the balance. In the fierce battle between Yun Taiyang and Blood Cloud, heavy blows were exchanged as each combatant struggled to gain the upper hand. Yun Taiyang marveled at the power of his adversary, realizing that Blood Cloud's strength matched his formidable reputation. Blood Cloud, in turn, pushed Yun Taiyang to a distance, showcasing the extent of his combat prowess. Undeterred, Yun Taiyang brandished his lightsaber, attempting to strike Blood Cloud. However, the Demon Lord swiftly parried the attack. To Yun Taiyang's surprise, Blood Cloud deftly deflected him with an axe, displaying incredible speed. Yun Taiyang, fueled by determination, shouted for Blood Cloud to move aside, emphasizing his need to save his sister. With a powerful punch, Yun Taiyang landed a blow on Blood Cloud's face, momentarily snapping the Demon Lord out of his bloodlust. As Blood Cloud regained his senses, memories from his past flooded back. Yun Taiyang learned of a time when Blood Cloud resisted the call to war by his orc brethren, advocating for peaceful resolution with humans. However, tragedy struck when Blood Cloud's human lover was killed by humans. leading him to make a pact with a demon and becoming trapped in an eternal, meaningless war. The memory weighed heavily on Blood Cloud, who had fought all this time without realizing the true reason behind his vendetta. Impaled by Yun Taiyang's saber, Blood Cloud recounted the painful realization that he had forgotten his lover and had been fighting for vengeance without purpose. Yun Taiyang, empathizing with Blood Cloud's plight, acknowledged that he, too, would have taken the same path to meet someone precious to him again. In another scene, Biolrim and the prisoners sought to escape from the orcs. As they reached the end of a hallway, Biolrim faced a colossal orc guard. In a surprising turn of events, someone skillfully sliced the orc like a fruit ninja. It was Yun Taiyang, appearing once more to reunite with Biolrim. In the somber corridors of memory, Biolrim found herself revisiting the haunting echoes of the past. The vivid recollection of her parents' untimely demise cast a shadow over her existence, leaving Yun Taiyang as the sole pillar of her fragmented family. The absence of her parents in the once familiar surroundings felt alienating and pierced her heart with a constant, throbbing pain. Faced with the harsh reality, she sought refuge in the fantastical realm of Dantalion, a world where the burdens of grief could momentarily be set aside. In the present, amidst the aftermath of a fierce battle, Biolrim glimpsed Yun Taiyang at the end of a desolate hallway. Claire cradled Captain Eden's lifeless form, both defeated by the relentless onslaught of Blood Cloud. In a tragic turn, Blood Cloud, witnessing the anguish of those it had harmed, chose to end its own existence. The war had concluded with the demise of all commanders on the battlefield, and a temporary peace settled over the land. However, the respite was short-lived as the system glitched, birthing a new threat that emerged ominously from the distance. In another scene, Biolrim, bewildered and unsure, confronted Yun Taiyang. Doubt clouded her gaze as she questioned the reality of his presence and probed into the reasons for his unexpected arrival. Yun Taiyang, with a solemn determination, disclosed that he had come to save her. As High on High watched the unfolding events through her laptop, Yun Taiyang expressed his sincere apologies and urged her to return with him. Suddenly, the fragile piece shattered. Biolrim's world crumbled as a sinister force impaled her chest, extinguishing the spark of life within her. In an instant, the others fell victim to the merciless Grim Reaper, and the demonic entity known as Beleth emerged. High on High, witnessing the unfolding tragedy, was paralyzed with shock as Biolrim's vital signs signaled her untimely demise. Beleth, a harbinger of darkness, began absorbing the souls of the fallen, intending to reconstruct the world into a frozen wasteland teeming with cannibalistic monsters. Yun Taiyang, fueled by rage and despair, beheaded Beleth in a desperate attempt to reclaim what remained of their shattered reality. The echoes of sorrow reverberated through the chaotic landscape, as the survivors grappled with the consequences of a world forever altered by the machinations of fate. As the winds whispered ominous tales across the battlefield, Rant's gaze fixated on a distant point, her instincts tingling with an unsettling premonition. Solomon, curious about her intense scrutiny, inquired about the source of her unease. Ran, her voice laden with concern, confessed to a foreboding feeling emanating from the very air she breathed. She sensed that Yun Taiyang, a pivotal figure in their struggle, was in imminent danger. Suddenly, an oppressive aura enveloped them, rendering even Claire incapable of lifting her head. The weight of an impending doom hung in the air, and Rant's fears were validated as a malevolent presence descended upon the battlefield. Beleth, the harbinger of death, made his presence known, addressing Yun Taiyang with a chilling nonchalance. He remarked on the brutality of Yun Taiyang's actions, highlighting the numerous lives he had taken. Beleth, revealing his face after centuries, acknowledged Yun Taiyang's attempt to save Biolrim. However, the dark entity had other plans. Biolrim's soul was being mercilessly sucked into the abyss, prompting Yun Taiyang to desperately plead for her release. Beleth, with a sadistic smile, granted Yun Taiyang the souls of the fallen, inundating him with a flood of haunting memories of death. In a macabre twist, Beleth began narrating the sinister nature of Dantalion. He mocked the notions of heaven and hell, revealing that in this twisted game, humans became mere materials. The monsters that roamed the stages were once human, and the promises of wealth and power were nothing but illusions. Beleth's stage, a perpetual cycle of war, harvested the defeated souls, only to return the victors for yet another round. The revelation that Biolrim's soul would become the raw material for a new stage filled Yun Taiyang with fury. Beletha's callous disregard for the lives of those trapped in his nightmarish game ignited a fire within Yoon Taeyang. The stage was set for a clash of ideals, as Yoon Taeyang stood against the malevolent puppeteer, determined to defy the twisted destiny that Beleth sought to impose upon their shattered world. The cacophony of anguished voices echoed through the battlefield, the souls of the fallen trapped in Beletha's malevolent spell. Desperation filled the air as these tormented spirits yearned to break free from the chains of the demonic enchantment. Yoon Taeyang, amidst the turmoil, experienced a chilling realization: they were nothing more than pawns, mere playthings for the demon lords orchestrating this twisted game. In the midst of the darkness, Biolrim's radiance shone like a lone star, a beacon of hope amidst the despair. Yoon Taeyang emerged from the swirling tornado of souls that Beleth had conjured, a manifestation of his defiance against the puppeteer's malevolent machinations. Seizing the moment, Yoon Taeyang launched an attack on Beleth, determined to break free from the insidious game. Beleth, however, casually revealed the twisted nature of his stage, where rules favored the demon lord. In this nightmarish realm, victory for Beleth meant collecting the souls of the defeated. Beleth unleashed a devastating slash, a merciless force that swept across the battlefield, instantly claiming the lives of those unfortunate enough to be caught in its path. Solomon, quick on his feet, summoned a shield to ward off the deadly onslaught. Yoon Taeyang, undeterred, retaliated with his sabers, engaging Beleth in a fierce clash. The Grim Reaper's scythe sliced through the very essence of his opponents, and while Yoon Taeyang attempted to evade the lethal strike, Beleth managed to wound him. Drawing upon the power of the dragon's heart, Yoon Taeyang transformed, becoming half-dragon in a desperate bid to mend his battered soul. In a daring move, Yoon Taeyang sought to sever Beletha's head, but the demon lord cunningly shielded himself with the souls of the fallen, using them as a protective barrier. Beleth, seizing the opportunity, harnessed the soul of Biolrim and shattered Yoon Taeyang's lightsaber, leaving him vulnerable. Pinning Yoon Taeyang to the unforgiving ground, Beleth relished in his triumph. Meanwhile, in a distant scene, Belial, the observer in her bar, watched the unfolding battle with a sadistic glee, sipping her wine impatiently, longing for Yoon Taeyang's defeat to hasten the passing of her drunken stupor. The stage was set for an epic confrontation, with the forces of darkness and desperation clashing in a battle that transcended mere mortal understanding. In the ethereal realm, Biolrim's soul recalled the moment she was ruthlessly stabbed by Beleth, succumbing to death without the chance to clear the twisted game. Now, as a disembodied spirit, she witnessed Beleth pinning down Yoon Taeyang, an overwhelming desire to intervene coursing through her incorporeal form. The entangled souls of the fallen bound her, trapping her in the memories of her untimely demise. Amidst the spectral entanglement, her friend, the trainee knight, emerged as a guiding light. Encouraging Biolrim to cling to her inner radiance, she reminded her not to lose the essence of her light. Drawing upon this newfound strength, Biolrim unleashed her luminous power. Beleth, momentarily distracted, withdrew his scythe from Yoon Taeyang, ripping at the very fabric of his soul. Just as Beleth prepared to deliver a final, devastating blow, the souls he had captured rebelled against their captor. Biolrim, harnessing her skills as a prison break expert, took charge. The souls, guided by her leadership, converged on Beleth, ensnaring him in an otherworldly grip. With determination in her eyes, Biolrim approached the beleaguered Yoon Taeyang, questioning why he allowed himself to be beaten like a mere loser. Yoon Taeyang, somewhat surprised by her appearance, inquired if she had been watching his fights. With a touch of humor, Biolrim explained the lack of recorded battles on YouTube, citing the obscurity of the old game he championed. Undeterred, Yoon Taeyang proposed a collaboration, asking for Biolrim's assistance in their shared struggle against Beleth. As Beleth grappled with the uprising of the souls, Yoon Taeyang delivered a resounding punch to his face. Biolrim, seizing the moment, demanded the return of her pretty body. The battlefield shifted as the unlikely duo, bound by a common cause, confronted the malevolent force that sought to consume them all. In the midst of the chaotic battlefield, a blinding burst of light erupted, signaling a profound shift in the balance of power. Ran, attuned to the demonic energy, sensed the destruction of the malevolent force that had plagued them. As the light subsided, Yoon Taeyang emerged from the battlefield, urgently calling out for Biolrim. A chilling realization swept over him as he discovered her lifeless body, cradling her in his arms. Yoon Taeyang berated himself for being too late once again. Ran and Solomon approached, witnessing the heartbreaking scene. Ran's eyes met Yun Taiyang's, recognizing the profound loss etched on his face. As they grieved, a peculiar sensation rippled through the air. From the distance, souls began to emanate from the lifeless form of Beleth, their ethereal essence returning to the bodies of the fallen soldiers. Miraculously, the once lifeless soldiers began to stir, returning from the clutches of death. Captain Eden's voice echoed across the battlefield, summoning Claire. In another scene, High on High, previously distraught in the pod, witnessed a miraculous revival as Biolrim's vital signs miraculously restored. As Biolrim regained consciousness, she struggled to breathe. Yun Taiyang, overcome with relief, embraced his sister with an intensity that spoke of the fear of losing her. Meanwhile, Blood Cloud, seemingly reborn, approached Yun Taiyang. Unexpectedly, he extended a hand in a gesture of peace, signaling a profound shift in their tumultuous relationship. With Blood Cloud's assistance, Yun Taiyang rose to his feet, and a notification declared that the stage was clear. The war had come to an end. Achievements flashed before them, showcasing the successful completion of their mission. Yun Taiyang, now bestowed with the holy skill of a demon slayer, left the party in stunned silence. In a surreal twist, Yun Taiyang found himself teleported to another dimension. From the outer reaches of space, a figure materialized before him, identifying herself as Dantalion. She posed a question to Yun Taiyang, challenging him to contemplate whether he felt qualified to ascend to the pinnacle of the tower. The journey, it seemed, was far from over, and new challenges awaited in the uncharted realms beyond. In the wake of his declaration to smash and climb his way out of the hidden stage, Yun Taiyang found himself facing Dantalion, the entity that identified herself as the system and the gate of Dantalion. She revealed that Yun Taiyang had awakened her, and with a subtle control, she halted the timer of the game. While they couldn't escape the game entirely, Dantalion could only slow down the closing of the gate. Curious and determined, Yun Taiyang questioned Dantalion about the means of leaving the game. In response, Dantalion cryptically informed him that he already knew the answer. By climbing to the top of the tower, all his questions would be answered. With that revelation, Yun Taiyang abruptly woke up, finding himself resting on Rant's lap. Startled and worried, Ran grabbed Yun Taiyang by his collar, shaking him in relief at his return. Eventually, she stopped shaking him and embraced him tightly, relieved by his safe return. Yun Taiyang rested in her arms as Ran expressed her concern, thinking he had faced another formidable demon. In the distance, Biolrim coughed, reminding them that others were watching. Ran, embarrassed by her actions, hugged Yun Taiyang even tighter. Curious about the events that transpired, Biolrim inquired about what happened. As Yun Taiyang raised his hand, he revealed a legendary card, the hidden card, the Divine Skill Demon Slayer, obtained by defeating Beleth. The warriors who witnessed Yun Taiyang's battle on the brink of death saw hope in finishing the game and knelt before him. Blood Cloud, intrigued, asked Yun Taiyang if he could join his cause to kill the demons of the world. Yun Taiyang, unwavering in his goal, expressed that whether he was a savior or avenger, his sole objective was to climb to the top of the tower and finish the game to reunite with his family on Earth. Uninterested in other matters, he simply wanted to wake up. Meanwhile, in another scene, Belial, infuriated by Beletha's defeat, broke her wine glass. She decided to retreat and erase her memories before the Demon Kid discovered her secret. Before leaving, Bull, the Demon Kid, appeared, inquiring about her well-being. Belial, realizing her mistake, pleaded for forgiveness. However, Bull, throwing a bottle aside, declared that a bad adult breaking the rules should be punished. In response, Belial apologized, promising not to repeat her actions. However, Bull, with a cold demeanor, killed Belial as he observed the scene through a monitor. The consequences of the game unfolded, with each move impacting the fates of those entangled in its intricate web. In the vast expanse of existence, demons once roamed freely, tempting and seducing humans across countless dimensions. Among them was Bull, a powerful entity with the ability to transcend dimensions. Despite his immense strength, Bull experienced profound loneliness. For thousands of years, he wandered through numerous universes, seeking solace in the infinite expanse. One fateful encounter brought Bull to Dantalion, a unique shapeshifter who differed from other demons. Dantalion wasn't merely a soul harvester, he possessed the rare ability to play with the beings he encountered. In various forms, an old man with white hair, a middle-aged gentleman, or a beautiful spirit, Dantalion engaged Ball in a playful dynamic. As their interactions deepened, a whimsical idea took shape in Ball's mind. Thus, the Tower of Dimensions came into existence, a structure forged by Ball's dimensional abilities. 72 demons gathered within, seeking entertainment in their immortal lives, desiring even more power or pursuing their individual purposes. Ball, magnanimous in his power, divided it among the demons, who then created doors in their respective dimensions, naming them after themselves. These doors became portals for humans, unwittingly chosen as playthings in the tower. As the count of human participants reached 300 million, Dantalion set his plan in motion. The intricate web of dimensions became a trap, ensnaring the unwitting humans within the tower. In this multidimensional realm, Ran encountered Biolrim, who, curious about their connection, inquired if Ran was Yoon Taeyang's girlfriend. The complexity of their relationships unfolded against the backdrop of the Tower of Dimensions, where the whims of demons and the fates of humans intertwined in a celestial game orchestrated by the enigmatic entities. Amidst the celebratory atmosphere after their first victory in the Tower of Dimensions, Yoon Taeyang found himself reflecting on his role as a savior and his quest to reach the tower's summit. However, as the revelry continued, he realized that the players needed to take a break and celebrate their hard-earned success. Biolrim, emphasizing the importance of a day off, was presented with a peculiar-looking dish by her friends. To her surprise, the food tasted delicious despite its unappetizing appearance. High on High approached Biolrim, expressing regret for not coming sooner and tearfully apologizing for not being there in person. Memories of the days when Yoon Taeyang and High on High cared for Biolrim flooded back, and emotions ran high. In the distance, Yoon Taeyang overheard their conversation, perplexed by their cryptic dialogue. Meanwhile, Biolrim confronted Ran, noting her actions with Yoon Taeyang and pondering the nature of their relationship. Biolrim, a fan of High on High, found it challenging to accept Yoon Taeyang being with Ran. In a humorous twist, Biolrim slipped and fell into the bosom of Ran, who displayed both potential and a promising future. Ran, concerned, asked if Biolrim was okay, her genuine smile and ample bosoms leaving an impression on Biolrim. Contemplating the situation, Biolrim reconsidered her stance, acknowledging that perhaps a close relationship that started as colleagues might be acceptable for Yoon Taeyang. However, this change of heart angered High on High, leaving Yoon Taeyang still bewildered by the unfolding events. Deciding to take a break for the day, people and orcs alike celebrated their victory. Captain Eden, surprisingly nonchalant, offered a mug of beer to Blood Cloud, shocking the orcs. Meanwhile, from a distance, Ran observed Yoon Taeyang and Biolrim's reunion. Drunk on orc-style secret bomb liquor, Ran created a massive tornado, leaving Yoon Taeyang puzzled. Concerned for Ran's safety, Yoon Taeyang approached the tornado, smacking Ran's head and carrying her out of the chaotic windstorm. In the barracks, he gently placed her on a bed, intending to let her rest. As he prepared to leave, Ran grabbed Yoon Taeyang's hands, pleading for him to stay. Ran held the hand of Yoon Taeyang and Ran told him that she drank a lot, that she lost herself and got up in the bed. Ran thinks that she went wild and was embarrassed with her actions. Yoon Taeyang then tells her that everyone has their goal in entering the tower, so what was her goal? And a flashback was shown as a little Ran was practicing her wind magic and she calls her master for doing a good job. Her master was the best at wind magic and the greatest. Her name was Master Kyongpung. All the wind arts Ran used came from Master Kyongpung, but one day a portal then opens in their village. And the masters of the village tried to seal the portal, but it was so strong and repelled all the masters who tried to seal it. As the demonic energy inside the portal is blocking the seal, it is a strange power that they never encountered before and their martial arts are useless to it, but Master Kyongpung approached the portal and sealed it, and she never returned. Ran entered the tower to find Master Kyongpung. She thinks to herself that when she saw Yoon Taeyang and Biolrim reunited, she felt guilty and lost sight of the mission because of Yoon Taeyang. Ran was sorry that she talks too much, but Yoon Taeyang tells her that he is listening and Yoon Taeyang tells her that she met Biolrim so fast is because of her help and comforts her that she will see Master Kyongpung too and tells her that she is strong. Ran then remembers her vow to the wind and the pact between them that she will live forever for Yoon Taeyang. And Ran gathers her strength to ask Yoon Taeyang what is she for Yoon Taeyang? And little by little they approach each other in the bed, and suddenly Byeolrim enters the room with her huge Gadekpi meal. Ran then pushes Yoon Taeyang out of the bed, and Byeolrim was happy that Ran is already awake and offers her the food, and Ran out of embarrassment wants to eat some of the food. Yoon Taeyang is happy, smiling under the bed. The next day Solomon, Ran and Yoon Taeyang prepares to enter the next floor. In the other scene, Dantalion is sitting at his throne thinking that Yoon Taeyang is finally ready, and asked the true demon Gremory if she was thrilled.
Yoon Taeyang, Ran, and Solomon Arkraptor stood in front of the gates while Yoon Byeolrim shouted at them to hold on. She asked them to wait for her and called Yoon Taeyang Oppa as she ran towards him, pleading, "Take me with you, Oppa." However, Yoon Taeyang said no. Yoon Taeyang then asked Yoon Byeolrim to stay there. Confused, Yoon Byeolrim asked, "What?" Yoon Taeyang explained to everyone that it was the same for all of them. He said, "It's a death trap beyond this point." The crowd, feeling powerless compared to Yoon Taeyang, hesitated to move. Yoon Byeolrim shouted at Yoon Taeyang, telling him no. She had barely made it here, risking her life, and she had finally found Yoon Taeyang, only to be left behind. "No way," she exclaimed, insisting that she was going with them. Yoon Taeyang told Yoon Byeolrim that this was exactly why she needed to stay. He asked her to stay alive here so he could come back to her. He smiled as Yoon Byeolrim looked shocked at his words. "This stage is empty now. No demons," Yoon Taeyang said, "but who knows what they hide above? You have to guard this place." As people listened to him, he added, "Maybe if we're lucky, other players will join us." With that, Yoon Taeyang walked away. Yoon Byeolrim told him, "Don't die, Yoon Taeyang, you have to survive." Yoon Taeyang agreed, and Hyun-hae told Yoon Byeolrim not to worry, as Ran and Yoon Byeolrim would be by Yoon Taeyang's side. Yoon Taeyang entered the gold gate with a coin, and Ran and Hyun-hae smiled as they watched him go. Solomon Arkraptor followed Yoon Taeyang to the golden gate. Solomon Arkraptor then said to Yoon Byeolrim, "Oh right, Yoon Taeyang's little sister," as he threw something at her. Yoon Byeolrim caught it, and Solomon Arkraptor told her, "Take that." He winked at her, and Yoon Byeolrim exclaimed, "Damn!" Tears welled up in her eyes as she watched them leave the stage. She muttered, "What is this?" wiping away her tears. Looking at what Solomon Arkraptor had thrown at her, she saw a little Solomon Arkraptor doll, creepily smiling. "This ugly thing," she exclaimed. A system notification showed that they had cleared war stages 37 to 39 and entered the rest stage. At the rest stage, Solomon Arkraptor casually walked the streets, remarking, "I haven't felt such clear air in a long time." He looked back and noticed Yoon Taeyang and Ran walking far apart from each other. Ran blushed in the distance. Solomon Arkraptor asked Ran, "Seriously, what happened between you two yesterday?" Ran shouted at Solomon Arkraptor, insisting, "Nothing happened," blushing. She added while hugging herself, "Really? Nothing?" Solomon Arkraptor was shocked by Ran's body language and words. He smiled to himself, thinking, "I bet Yoon Taeyang screwed it up again." Laughing, Solomon Arkraptor asked Ran to come on, suggesting they grab some drinks and chill at a bar nearby. Ran, embarrassed, told him to cut it out. They entered an empty bar. Yoon Taeyang remarked that it seemed no one else had made it this far. Let then placed an ice-cold beer with fizz on the table, saying, "Well, actually, a long time ago, there was one player who came through here," smiling at them. Yoon Taeyang, Ran, Hyun-hae, and Solomon Arkraptor were shocked at what Let said. Yoon Taeyang questioned if someone had gone ahead of them, asking, "Who was it?" Let simply smiled and pointed towards the source of the golden light, an illuminated door. Yoon Taeyang then asked Let if she wanted him to go up and see for himself. Without waiting for her response, he declared, "Let's go," as Ran and Solomon Arkraptor stood at his back. Yoon Taeyang grabbed the door and swung it open, leading them all inside. Ran and Solomon Arkraptor were momentarily blinded by the intense light as Yoon Taeyang peered into what lay beyond the door. A system notification appeared, indicating they should proceed to the next stage. Ran attempted to enter, shielding her eyes from the brightness. She noticed a blue stream of wind and murmured to herself, "This wind." She then found herself in a forest, where someone called out her name, ran. She turned towards the voice and saw her long-lost master. In another scene, Solomon R. Crapter found himself in a blizzard, facing someone before him. He chuckled, saying, "You have got to be kidding me," as he realized it was his father. They stood in the blizzard, staring at each other. In another setting, Yun Taeyang entered a stage and opened his eyes to a city filled with lights, bustling with traffic and people going about their business. He saw screens displaying advertisements for Dantalion and pedestrians crossing the street. "No way!" Yun Taeyang exclaimed, shocked by what he was witnessing. He muttered, "This is Earth?" A system notification appeared, stating stage 10 of 1. Discover the truth. Yun Taeyang stood there, only to be bumped into by a beautiful lady. She scolded him. "Hey, what are you doing, mister? Just standing there?" Yun Taeyang, surprised by her words, apologized. The lady then joined her friend, who arrived late. They discussed buying popcorn as Yun Taeyang listened in. Yun Taeyang glanced at a nearby mirror, finding the scene too realistic. He called for Hyun-hye, questioning, "Is this really possible?" Even Hyun-hye couldn't provide an answer, shocked by the recreation of Earth exactly as it was an hour before the Dantalion error occurred. Yun Taeyang pondered, just how strong are the demon's abilities? A system notification suddenly appeared, displaying a quest, execute the developers. In the distance, there was a sign for spicy cream donuts, leaving Yun Taeyang and Hyun-hye stunned by the quest. The system notification showed a list of names, the executive producer and the creative director, along with their vital stats. Yun Taeyang pondered, should the developers be executed? Glancing at the list, he turned to Hyun-hye and questioned if these individuals were truly the developers of Dantalion. Hyun-hye paused, promising to check. She searched the internet, finding that some on the list lacked pictures, yet their information matched online details. With this revelation, Hyun-hye, sweating, called out to Yun Taeyang, confirming that this was indeed the list of developers. Yun Taeyang was taken aback, his anger rising at the discovery. He muttered to himself that these individuals had made everything so realistic, demanding someone be killed. Standing amidst the bustling city, Hyun-hye noticed a person with a blue aura in the crowd. She alerted Yun Taeyang, pointing towards the man, confirming he was one of the developers on the list. She warned Yun Taeyang that he was about to escape. Yun Taeyang then instructed Hyun-hye that despite her warning, he dashed towards the target developer. As he closed in, the developer looked at him, causing Yun Taeyang to halt just before striking the developer's face. The developer, terrified, nearly wet himself from the shockwave. Yun Taeyang realized he couldn't bring himself to kill him. Observing the developer, Yun Taeyang witnessed someone swiftly decapitating the developer, the head turning into wood, impaled by a sword. Realizing it was just a wooden doll, Yun Taeyang searched for the attacker. Suddenly, he was grabbed from behind, a sword almost piercing his face. A woman in a Nike sports bra asked him if he was a genuine player or a pretender. Recalling what Let had told him long ago, Yun Taeyang remembered a player who had passed through this place. Another player. Looking up at the woman, Yun Taeyang saw her attempting to cut him, grazing his cheeks. In pain, he grabbed her ankles, pinning her down. Holding both her hands, he declared that he too was a player. The woman grew furious, kicking him in the stomach, chastising him for his rudeness. Brushing herself off, she stood up, dusting her shoulders. Yun Taeyang inquired about her identity and how she arrived here. The woman, introducing herself as Yuri, remarked on his appearance but noted his lack of knowledge about games or women. She retrieved her sword from the wooden doll's head, sliding it back into her scabbard, nestled against her alluring back, claiming to be Dantalion's first player. Yun Taeyang and Hyun-hye were stunned by the revelation, both exclaiming Dantalion simultaneously. A first player? As Yuri displayed her alluring back, in the distance, a person glowed in blue, reading his book and yawning. Suddenly, he was decapitated, his torso slashed, and a system notification announced the 6th developer's demise. Another notification swiftly followed, indicating the 25th developer's death, then the 32nd. Meanwhile, In another scene, two individuals conversed, one casually holding a drink as the other listened intently. Yuri dashed towards them, flipping from above, swiftly dispatching the two developers. Another notification flashed, signaling the demise of the 24th and 25th developers. Taking a moment to catch her breath, Yuri glanced at her notepad, then closed her eyes, shouting at Yun Taiyang, "Oi! Stop following me around like a dog. Bothering me. Just leave. You're interrupting." Yun Taiyang stepped out of the dark alley, holding the head of a mannequin, explaining that he hadn't meant to interrupt. Yuri retorted, accusing Yun Taiyang of incessantly trailing her, idly picking at her ears as Yun Taiyang grew frustrated. Yun Taiyang argued, stating it was obvious their paths would overlap, given they were on the same stage with the same quest. Meanwhile, Hyun-hye pondered to herself, observing Yuri's actions, convinced that this player Yuri was up to something. Yuri seemed to possess precise knowledge of the developer's locations, navigating the most optimal routes as if she knew exactly when and where each developer would move. Yuri suggested sarcastically, "Why don't you just sit there quietly and wait until I finish killing all the developers?" Yun Taiyang stepped right in front of Yuri, locking eyes with her. Yuri, unfazed, questioned, "Are you trying to scare me?" Yun Taiyang responded, "You know this stage well, don't you?" He expressed his desire to leave this place and return to the real world quickly. Despite any personal feelings between them, he suggested they work together for now, extending his hand for a handshake. A system notification appeared, indicating that player Yun Taiyang was requesting to party with player Yuri. Yuri looked at Yun Taiyang's hand and smiled mischievously. Whispering "real world," she suddenly shouted, "It was too close before that," and playfully punched Yun Taiyang in the chin. Then, she tossed a candy bar at him, which he caught tightly, crushing it in his grip. Yuri told him to eat it, mentioning it had been a while, all while striking a pose with her seductive back. Yun Taiyang stared at the crushed chocolate bar, while in another scene, Yuri bit into her candy bar. She sat atop a building's railing, gazing at the city lights. Yuri remarked on the realistic taste of chocolate bars, contrasting it with the shoddy mannequin targets. She pondered whether the creators of the game were desperate to make it seem real, even using souls, or if they were simply perverts with strange hobbies, all while they both indulged in their chocolate bars. Curious, Yun Taiyang asked, "What do you mean tonight is fake?" Yuri paused, then cryptically replied, "You are about to find out." In the distance, a clock displayed 1958:25, ticking closer to midnight. As it struck 1959, the clock turned red, casting the city in a crimson glow. Pods around them crackled with red sparks, eliciting screams of pain. Yun Taiyang, shocked, realized the significance. He remembered the announcement of Dantalion, the day of the era that led to 20 million deaths, occurring at 8:00 p.m., the exact time now. Yuri stood up, declaring, "This is it." Yun Taiyang's cheek wound closed, and the timer reversed, going back an hour. A system notification indicated the stage was rewinding by 1 hour. Yuri explained that the people were trapped in the game, an hour before Dantalion's era. The night kept repeating since she joined this stage. Walking on the building's railings, Yuri felt she was being punished. Yun Taiyang listened intently, looking up at her, as Yuri revealed that the person who made this game was her father, and she resented him deeply. In another scene, Solomon R. Crafter defeated his father, Benjamin. Looking at the fallen body, which turned into a mannequin, he chuckled, realizing it was all fake, somehow Adam's toy. Exhausted, he fell into the snow, mentioning he had used up all his mana, with one charger left in his pocket. Suddenly, someone clapped, and Solomon R. Crafter found himself teleported to the engineering room. A voice greeted him, saying, "Long time no see." Solomon R. Crafter looked at the person, who addressed him as Love. Flustered, he denied missing her, sweating under the unexpected encounter. Solomon R. Crafter looked up, hearing a voice saying, "Long time no see, Solomon," with affection. The speaker added, "Did you miss me?" It was Chimeras. Solomon R. Crafter replied, "No," Chimeras countered, "but we've been together all this time, haven't we?" As Solomon R. Crafter's necklace levitated and glowed, a flashback appeared. In the flashback, Solomon R. Crafter revealed to Chimeras the truth of their world, a game she had created. He asked if he could also escape. Chimeras replied, "Of course, the tower welcomes all challengers." She then presented a necklace with a pendant, saying, "Will you take it?" Back in the present, Chimeras remarked to Solomon Arcrafter that she had watched his journey with great interest, even to places beyond the demon's sight. "Poor thing, it's been a long time since we've seen each other," she said, noting his worn appearance. "It's hard to stay alive, isn't it?" she added, poking Solomon Arcrafter's head. Solomon Arcrafter inquired if Chimeras knew of any mana potions, checking his back pocket. He then became serious, asking how Chimeras had reached the stage. "Even for a demon, it should be impossible to enter another demon stage," he stated. Chimeras laughed. "Ho ho, you're sharp, Solomon Arcrafter. Have you learned that much?" She explained, "I didn't enter, I just borrowed it for a while." Comparing it to her Benjamin wooden doll, she revealed that the main material of this stage was wooden dolls, Gregory's true stage. She had a habit of revealing the truth to players. "Your ancestors opened the dimensional gate in exchange for steam engine technology," she told Solomon. "The dimension that gained the technology developed exponentially. Those who received it tried to close the gate, but it was too late. Your hometown was soon absorbed by the tower." Solomon Arcrafter responded, "So what? I don't care about the past. I want to know what you guys know." He struggled to stand, shaking like a twig. "At the top of this tower," he shouted, "I want to see beyond." Chimeras smiled. "That's why I like you, Solomon Arcrafter. But with a human body, there's a limit to understanding this dimension." She took a mana potion from Solomon Arcrafter's pocket and attempted to consume it. She then told him, "I'll expand your abilities." Surprised, Solomon Arcrafter exclaimed, "Expand my abilities?" Chimeras responded with a request, placing the mana potion in Solomon Arcrafter's mouth. Whispering something to him, Solomon Arcrafter listened intently, the mana potion in his mouth. He listened more, his eyes widening in shock. Finally, he shouted, "What the?" On the rooftop of a building, Yuri Maximoff called out for her dad, triggering a flashback. In the flashback, Yuri opened a door and was shocked by what she saw. Frantically, she shouted, "Why aren't you answering my calls? Please, come home. Mom is having another seizure." Spotting a pod in the distance with Dantalion on the screen, she called out for her dad. Yuri stopped as she looked at the screen. Back in the present, Yuri told Yun Taiyang that since she was little, her dad had been obsessed with developing virtual reality games. Even when her mom fell ill and couldn't walk, her dad's focus remained on his work. 5 years ago, on the day Dantalion was released to the world, her dad vanished without a trace. With her mom gone and nothing left, she lived in this world where Dantalion was the only connection to her dad. The scene shifted to Yuri skillfully dispatching monsters with her katana as Dantalion spoke to her. He mentioned that she had survived and that all the answers she sought were at the top of the tower. "Climb to the top and claim everything," Dantalion urged. In a sudden turn, Yuri pressed her sword against his neck, demanding to know if her dad was alive. Back in the present, Yuri had finally reached this stage, yet no matter how many monsters she defeated, she couldn't clear it. She had been reliving this night countless times, reaching what she believed to be her final destination. Just a beggar, she mused, asking Yun Taiyang for his thoughts. Intentionally slipping on the railing of the building, she wondered aloud if it would all end if she died there. Smiling as she fell, Yun Taiyang was shocked and rushed after her, urging her to wait. He jumped and caught her wrist as she fell. Talking to Yuri, Yun Taiyang advised her not to speak as though she had experienced everything in the world. No matter how harsh reality was, he emphasized that reality was better than the virtual. Listening to him, Yuri Maximoff thoughtfully considered his words. Yun Taiyang shouted at her, expressing that being alive was better than dying. Suddenly, an explosion erupted from below the building, startling them both. Yun Taiyang tried to grab Yuri's hand with both of his as he questioned the explosion. Yuri asked him teasingly, "Are you taking responsibility for that?" Smiling mischievously, she then let go of Yun Taiyang, grabbing his shirt and pulling him close. Locking eyes with him, she smiled as they both jumped from the building. In slow motion, they looked into each other's eyes, with the city skyline as their backdrop. Yun Taiyang yelled at Yuri, demanding to know what she was doing. Laughing, Yuri asked him seriously, "You don't know how to land in a game?" They both dropped and landed safely, standing up together amidst the chaos. System notifications flashed, indicating the appearance of Developer 23, followed by Developer 13, then Developer 6, and finally Developer 15. Yuri Maximoff and Yoon Tae-yang gazed at a monstrous abomination with multiple heads as another system notification appeared, indicating the arrival of Developer ? Yuri Maximoff swiftly threw a sword at Yoon Tae-yang, who caught it skillfully. She called out to him, and a system notification announced that player Yuri Maximoff had partied with player Yoon Tae-yang. With a playful smile, Yuri Maximoff turned to Yoon Tae-yang, showing off her alluring back and body. "Shall we see your skills?" she asked, teasingly inviting him to join the battle. The monstrous creature loomed over Yuri Maximoff and Yoon Tae-yang, its size impressive. Yoon Tae-yang couldn't help but ask, "What is that?" Yuri Maximoff replied with a hint of disdain, "It's a lump of wooden dolls, developers that weren't killed last night." What a sloppy demon, incredibly crude. Observing Yuri Maximoff, Yoon Tae-yang couldn't help but wonder to himself if she was taking on all the developers by herself this time. Yuri Maximoff remarked, "Well, this one is quite big, isn't it?" As they prepared to engage the monster, it suddenly smashed the ground, causing an explosion. Yoon Tae-yang and Yuri Maximoff leaped away to avoid the attack, nimble in their evasion. They continued to dodge its assaults, leaping from place to place across the city. During this evasion, Yoon Tae-yang asked Yuri Maximoff, "Where are its weak points?" She swiftly replied, "The main developers are the wooden puppets attached to its head and shoulders. Aim for them." Suddenly, the monster grabbed a red Hyundai car, crushed it instantly, and hurled it toward them. Yoon Tae-yang and Yuri Maximoff calmly watched the car approach before it exploded, prompting them to dash to safety. Approaching the monster again, they both sliced at its feet, cutting through its flesh like butter. Yuri Maximoff then requested a boost from Yoon Tae-yang, who responded, "Now!" He lifted her with his hands, gazing up at her from below and admiring her lithe form as she readied her two katanas to strike. A system notification appeared, indicating that the leaves of the great machinery were rapidly winding up with a 12-hour cooldown. Player Yuri Maximoff received the quickly wind-up first stage buff. Boosted by Yoon Tae-yang, Yuri Maximoff glowed in the dark with the wind-up skill. From above, she swiftly stabbed the monster from its top to its two wooden faces. Suddenly, the creature's middle face's eyes glowed red, and it roared, its head transforming into a mouth with a long, menacing tongue ready to devour Yuri Maximoff. However, it was stabbed in the back with a katana. Yoon Tae-yang emerged from behind, remarking to Yuri Maximoff, "You let your guard down." He smiled at her, but Yuri Maximoff was unimpressed, cautioning him not to get too cocky and reminding him that she had more kills than him. Yoon Tae-yang merely replied, Yeah. The monster smoked, and a system notification appeared, indicating that they had failed to kill the developer. Yuri Maximoff and Yoon Tae-yang were shocked, as was Hyun-hee, who exclaimed that the stage wasn't cleared. Yoon Tae-yang realized that something still remained, something they needed to find. Suddenly, someone called out to Yoon Tae-yang, shocking him. He turned to see the Giga Games building and remembered, "This is the company that developed Dantalion, Giga Games." Yuri Maximoff finished Yoon Tae-yang's sentence, emphasizing the significance of the discovery. In the next scene, they ventured into the building, stepping through its ruined halls. Yuri Maximoff remarked to Yoon Tae-yang that she knew what he was thinking. There was no one here. She had explored this place more thoroughly than anyone else since entering the stage, knowing every nook and cranny, even every little mouse that scurried about. As they arrived in a particular room, someone repeatedly called out to Yoon Tae-yang. However, he could only hear it himself. Yoon Tae-yang pondered to himself, recognizing the voice from the system of Dantalion. His gaze fell to the floor, which glowed softly, and he heard his name called once more. Yuri Maximoff, curious about Yoon Tae-yang's sudden behavior, asked him what he was doing. Yoon Tae-yang crouched on the floor, attempting to pry at the glowing surface. Yuri Maximoff, startled by his actions, watched in shock as the floor revealed something beneath, a virtual reality capsule. A system notification appeared, indicating that it was a prototype virtual reality capsule. Yun Taiyang mentioned that he had heard about her father being a developer too, disappearing 5 years ago when Dantalion opened. He speculated, what if the place he disappeared to isn't Earth, but inside the game? Yuri Maximoff was taken aback by this thought. She approached the capsule and reached out to touch it. Suddenly, it emitted smoke, and both of them peered inside as it opened. To their surprise, it was empty. Just then, a voice from behind them spoke. "It's nice to see you again." Yun Taiyang listened intently as the person continued, calling out his name, Yun Taiyang. Dantalion said, "We meet again, player Yun Taiyang and player Yuri Maximoff." Yun Taiyang exclaimed, "Dantalion, why are you here?" Dantalion responded, "Yun Taiyang, don't you already know? I am the end and the beginning of this game. This is the truth stage, managed by the Demon of Truth Gremory." She tells the players who reach her floor the truth of the dimensional labyrinth. Among the humans of Earth, there is a right called the right of knowledge, isn't there? Your dimension, Earth, is truly an amazing place. Without the help of mana or QI, it's rare to see a dimension where technology has advanced so overwhelmingly. They've developed a way to capture the human mind using only electricity, not assisted by magic, but purely through technology. Yuri Maximoff whispered, "The full dive technology. It's the core technology of virtual reality games that connects the player's mind to the virtual reality." Dantalion said, "That's right. It captures the soul and transplants it into the virtual world. This is no different from using dimensional travel magic without using magic or mana. By adding a little bit of magic, I use this as a door connecting Earth and the dimensional labyrinth. This is the story of how I created a dimensional door on Earth. Once the door was opened, everything progressed naturally until Dantalion became overwhelmingly popular, and the number of concurrent users reached 300 million. Of course, before I could officially invite you to the dimensional labyrinth, I had to do some cleaning." Yun Taiyang said, "Dantalion's errors, the deaths of the developers. You're saying you did all this by yourself?" Dantalion replied, "Demons are beings who can do such things easily. Yun Taiyang and Yuri Maximoff, I will use my powers to return you to Earth." Yun Taiyang and Yuri Maximoff were shocked. Dantalion continued, "If you do me a favor." All of them fell silent. Yun Taiyang looked at Dantalion and became angry. He ground his teeth in anger and called for Hyunhei. "I can't take it anymore." Hyunhei asked, "What?" Yun Taiyang said, "The reason we're in this mess is because of that bastard. Biorum is in danger. I can't take it anymore." Yuri Maximoff suddenly held Yun Taiyang's shoulder and said, "Step aside. I'll deal with him first." She rushed towards Dantalion. From her back, a sword appeared, and she changed clothes in front of Yun Taiyang. She took her sword and charged towards Dantalion. Dantalion casually sat in front of them and laughed. A huge blast erupted in the direction of Dantalion, and from the dust, Yuri Maximoff was kneeling, having only stabbed a wooden mannequin of Dantalion. Dantalion told them, "See you again next time, Taiyang and Yuri Maximoff, in the near future." Yun Taiyang cursed and said, "He was fake too." He walked towards Yuri Maximoff, who was still kneeling and looking frustrated. Yuri Maximoff said, "There is a message written inside this capsule." Yun Taiyang asked, "What?" Yuri Maximoff said while touching the capsule. "The one my dad left behind?" Inside the capsule was a developer's note. It read, "One night a demon came and asked to make a door." The demon's name was Dantalion. I may have been fooled by the demon's tricks, but I couldn't refuse the demon's whisper to cure my sick wife. The cure for my wife, which is impossible with just Earth's medicine, may be possible with the power of the dimension that the demon spoke of. When this command is made public, I may no longer exist, so I write the codes that will be of some help in clearing the game in this developer note for the last player to clear this game, and for my daughter Yuri Maximoff. Yuri Maximoff remained silent. She took out her sword and prepared to stab the capsule. When she stabbed the capsule, it suddenly lit up and the light intensified. Yun Taiyang's clothes returned to their normal look, and the place transformed. A system notification said, "Quest. Punish the developers completed. Stage. Find the truth has been cleared." Yun Taiyang said, "The stage has been cleared. Yuri Maximoff put her sword back in its scabbard, and they both looked at Solomon our crafter. Yun Taiyang said, Solomon our crafter was resting with 2 kiss marks on his cheek and neck. Solomon our crafter said while dreaming happily, Oh, you came out safely, Yun Taiyang. Yun Taiyang asked Solomon our crafter, Why do you look like that? Solomon our crafter remembered Chimera saying, Solomon, don't be afraid. Open your heart wide and accept me. Chimera seductively was on top of Solomon our crafter, touching his chin and abs, and whispered to him, Like this. She began to kiss him with love. Solomon our crafter said, Are you really expanding my abilities? In the present, Solomon our crafter said, I guess I should say that my abilities expanded in various ways. But who is that next to you? Yun Taiyang said, Oh, this is, Yuri Maximoff said, I'm Yuri Maximoff, a childhood friend of Yun Taiyang, and she grabbed Yun Taiyang by the shoulder, pushing her body next to him. A friend who promised to go back together. Yun Taiyang, confused, said, A friend. Solomon our crafter, still high from what chimeras did to him, said, Yun Taiyang again. Yun Taiyang said, Come to think of it, where is Ran? Suddenly, a portal showed up in front of them. In another scene, Ran was walking towards a bright light. She noticed the air, was shocked, and saw the forest. Ran said, This is my hometown, Changshon. In the distance, a lady called out, Ran. Ran looked at the person and saw a familiar face. As she looked closer, tears formed in her eyes. Teacher, she exclaimed. Suddenly, a little Ran ran towards her teacher with a flower in her hands. Her teacher gently scolded the young Ran. I told you, if you go too far, you'll get lost. The young Ran apologized. I'm sorry, teacher. There's a flower that blooms on that hill that I thought you would like. I wanted to show it to you. Her teacher smiled happily. Ran said, Is this a memory from my childhood? A system notification appeared. Stage 10-1. Find the truth. Quest. Catch the wind. Ran wondered. Catch the wind? How can I do that? She looked at the notification. Suddenly a gust of wind blew and she felt it rustle her dress. What is that wind? She asked, bewildered. The wind seemed to beckon her, and she decided, let's chase after it for now. The wind led her to the village. In the village, people were practicing their martial arts. Young Ran was practicing alongside the villagers and her master. She used her big fan to cut bamboo with the wind, and her master taught her how to properly use it. After their training, young Ran and her master went to the bathhouse. When I was young, I learned these martial arts from my teacher. The wind keeps following the young me and master. What does it want to show me? In the bathhouse, her master undresses and goes into the hot tub with rose petals. And the young Ran relaxes in the corner. Ran said to herself, this is not allowed as we see her teacher feeling the hot water after a long day. A few hours later of relaxation, her teacher fixes the young Ran's hair and she said, Ran, you will become a great windmaster. Between the blades of grass, over the hills of Changshan, to the clear sky, so that your wind can reach every corner of the world. Until then, don't let your wind stop. This is my wish for you. Ran still fixes her hair like her teacher does it back then. She said softly, Teacher. Suddenly, birds were startled and Ran noticed something in the distance. This feeling, she exclaimed as a huge monster appeared. The villagers started to panic as a giant anaconda rampaged through the village. Her teacher told her, Ran, please go somewhere safe. Ran cried out, Master! But her teacher approached the anaconda alone. She opened her fan blades and performed a stance, calling out, Wind Art, Silver Blade, Cyclone Slash. The attack immediately cut the anaconda into pieces and her teacher walked away. The villagers, worried, asked, Are you hurt? Another said, Master Chongpong, thank you for coming. Ran marveled, with just one attack. Teacher is very strong. But then she noticed something and said, Teacher is wounded. Master Chongpong walks away and waves goodbye to the villagers as she hides her wound to them. Ran said, Teacher, where did you go with such a serious injury? A few moments later, Master Chongpong was limping, already walking away from the village. And Ran continues to follow Master Chongpong. Master Chongpong loses blood more and she collapses to the ground. Ran said, Teacher. Suddenly Ran noticed someone approaching, and it was Andromalius. Andromalius looks at Master Chongpong and she said, You've come back to me again. Is the power you have received from me not enough? Master Chongpeng, enduring the pain, looked at Andromalius and tried to get up. There are more and more powerful demons appearing in the world. My power is no longer enough. I require greater, far greater power to protect the world. Master Chongpeng kissed Andromalius's feet. Andromalius smiled, her eyes glowing, and said, "Good." She snapped her fingers, and a gate descended from the sky. Ran, watching, thought to herself, "That's the gate of dimensions. You're the cause of the opening of the gate of dimensions in the sky." "Master?" Ran continues to watch them from a distance, and Andromalius looks at Ran. Ran was shocked, and the gate opened, and a dark aura came out of the gate. Inside the gate, a portal opens, and the dark energy came out of the portal and spreads to the village, and people shouted in fear. Ran said, "The sky is filled with a demonic wind," and Ran was struck by the demonic wind. Suddenly she saw Master Chongpeng absorbing the demonic wind, and Master Chongpeng stood up, and her eyes became black, and Ran was worried about her teacher as she looks at Master Chongpeng transforming and said, "Teacher." Ran immediately took out her fan, and Master Chongpeng looks at Ran. Master Chongpeng said, "Changshong's people. Ran, I will protect them." Suddenly, gust of demonic wind rages in all directions, and Ran covers herself with her big fan. Ran said to herself, "Teacher's mind has been consumed by the wind of the dimensional labyrinth. She can't hear me. First, I need to get to the forest where I can block the teacher's wind." Master Chongpeng saw a silhouette in the distance and looked at it closely. Master Chongpeng prepared for another attack, launching a dark wind slash through the forest. The wind cut the bamboo in half, but Ran managed to use her fan to jump away from the attack. "She's cutting down the entire forest," Ran exclaimed. "She's gotten stronger than before. The evil wind from the dimensional gate is giving teacher strength." Master Chongpeng noticed Ran and unleashed her windblade cyclone slash. Ran was struck, thrown to the ground, and her hairpin broke. Injured, she thought. "I thought I was strong enough, but I can't surpass teacher after all. My journey with the wind ends here." Looking at her broken hairpin, Ran heard her teacher's voice. "Ran, your wind is flashy." Holding her hairpin, Ran said, "Only my wind can save teacher." She stood up, despite the pain, and faced Master Chongpeng. Master Chongpeng felt pain and screamed, transforming into a huge tornado. After teacher's body was consumed by the wind, she has become the wind itself. But Ran endures the pain and went forward, and she gets closer to the tornado. And she said, "The fierce wind that destroys and cuts everything in its path, that bitter and sharp wind. But within it, I can feel a trace of teacher's wind, teacher's heart. I will reach it." And she runs towards Master Chongpeng and said, "With my wind," she declared, and attacked the tornado, causing it to explode. In another scene, Ran reflected, between the blades of grass over the hill to the clear sky. Cold wind, hot wind, warm wind, strong wind, and fierce wind, the flow of all the air here. No. Inside the tower, the currents of the wind can be felt. Expansion of the mind, the trap that talented wind mages most easily fall into. The spirit becomes one with the wind as they cast wind magic that burns their soul. In other words, they reach the realm of wind magic. There, they feel a sense of perfect omnipotence. Back with Yun Taiyang, Solomon R. Crafter, and Yuri Maximoff, they observed the portal. "That dimension is getting bigger," Yuri said. "At this rate, we'll all be sucked in." Yun Taiyang said to himself, "What the hell is going on? I can feel Ran's mana fluctuating inside there, even though it's far away. It's about to devour itself, and it's not stopping. It's just getting bigger. To the point of devouring itself, before Ran becomes more dangerous." Yun Taiyang said, "I'm going in," and rushes towards the portal. Suddenly a voice shouted saying, "Wait." "Player Yun Taiyang." And Yun Taiyang suddenly stops and looks at the direction of the voice. And he said to himself, "How does she know my name?" The voice sighed. "If you suddenly intrude on another player's stage, you can lose your soul due to a probability error. I'll create a dimensional rift." So through that rift, and she made a ball of energy and shoots it to the portal. And it opens another world. Yuri Maximoff said, "The dimension is open." Yun Taiyang was shocked, and the voice shouted, "Player Ran, please save her." Yun Taiyang saw Ran floating in the air in the distance. Yun Taiyang said to himself, Is that Ran inside? Yun Taiyang shouts at Ran saying, Ran, come to your senses. Stop the wind. Yun Taiyang said to himself, damn it. The currents of wind that cover the stage, Ran's mana can be felt all over the wind. This whole space feels like Ran. Suddenly Yun Taiyang heard a voice saying, that wind mage is in danger. Yun Taiyang recognized it as Arashil. A system notification confirmed, Arashil, the king of the storm spirits. Arashil said, the wind that has reached the realm cannot be contained by the human body. The wind mage has decided to give up her body and let her spirit fly with the wind. This is the end of wind magic that all wind mages aspire to. If this continues, the wind mage's existence will become that of the wind. Yun Taiyang thought, Ran, she'll become the wind? If seeing the end of wind magic is worth her life, do I have the right to interfere? He remembered Ran's smile and shouted, damn it. I'm sorry, Ran. I just can't watch you die. Arashil, help me to wake Ran's spirit. Arashil replied, foolish human. The spirit of that wind mage is already nothing but dust floating in the wind. Yun Taiyang said, that should be enough. A system notification announced, the king of the storm spirits, Arashil, inhabits the body of player Yun Taiyang. Arashil told Yun Taiyang, keep this in mind, Yun Taiyang. All I can do is help you with the wind. Waking the spirit of that wind mage is up to you. Yun Taiyang responded, it's okay. I learned how to wake her from her. He started running, his feet covered in flames. Ran, you swore to me. To die for me. It's not time yet. Yun Taiyang focused on Ran's body, running faster towards her. Let's break through this damn tower, we have to. He prepared to punch, the wind cutting into his body, making him bleed, but he pushed through. Reaching Ran, he gently held her face and whispered, so don't die yet. He kissed her passionately, and she slowly opened her eyes. Taiyang, she said as the wind stopped. Ran, Yun Taiyang said as she rested in his arms. Are you conscious? They both fell silent for a moment. Ran's eyes widened as she looked at Yun Taiyang. Taiyang, how did you get here? She felt the wind and grabbed it. A system notification appeared. Stage 10-1. Find the truth. Catch the wind stage cleared. Clear, Ran said. So I guess I broke through the stage after fighting my master. That's right, Yun Taiyang replied with a grin. You worked hard, Ran. Ran touched Yun Taiyang's face gently and whispered, my memories are hazy, but the wind lingering at the tip of my nose is still clear. It's not a lie. Tell me the truth. Just now, as the wind says, she looked into his eyes. You kissed me, right? Solomon our crafter watched silently from a distance and thought, what about me? Yuri Maximoff noticed Solomon and said, oh. Yun Taiyang and Ran looked at Solomon, and Yun Taiyang said, oh right, Solomon. Ran, embarrassed, slapped Yun Taiyang, sending him flying into the wall. She laughed. Solomon, you're safe. That's a relief, Solomon our crafter asked. Was that the wind spirit? You two look like you're not hurt. Ran replied, you two made it out safely too. Solomon clarified, the wind spirit that was inside you. Yuri Maximoff approached Ran while Yun Taiyang got up, feeling intense pain in his face. Yuri introduced herself. Nice to meet you, I'm Yuri Maximoff. I'm from the same planet as Taiyang. Solomon added, the player who came up here before us. Yuri helped Ran stand up. The wind was quite flashy. Solomon said, I'll go get Taiyang. Ran thanked them. I'm Ran. She noticed something and thought, this wind, definitely. I can feel that the wind inside me has gotten stronger as we overcame the stage. Suddenly, they noticed someone walking in the distance. They were all shocked as she approached. I am glad that you are safe, players, she said, standing before them. This voice, Yun Taiyang said, remembering the portal and the plea, Player Ran, please save her. You are the one that trapped us in this stage, Yun Taiyang accused. The demon? The woman tripped over the tiles and fell. I'm sorry, she said. She was Gremory, the demon of truth. She put cotton in her nose and explained, it is this demon that locked me in the stage. Yuri told Gremory, I was going to hit you once we got out of the stage. No, I was going to crush you 20 times, but I'm out of energy. Solomon thought. The stage. Gremory showed us the process of how the dimensional gate was created in each dimension through her stage, without using souls as the material and without any players being sacrificed. Solomon asked Gremory, You seem different from the other demons." "What do you want from us?" Gremory replied. "I'm sorry for putting you through that ordeal, but it was the only way. It is against the rules for me to tell you the truth of the labyrinth directly. I am Gremory, the demon of truth. You are players who have a duty to know the truth. Those are our memories," Yuri said. "I will transmit them. A war is about to happen in this dimensional labyrinth," Gremory warned. "War?" Solomon echoed. Everyone looked up as Gremory opened a new door. "There is no time. Let's go first," Solomon ran. Yun Taiyang urged. Solomon asked, "What? You knew about this?" Yuri suddenly faced Gremory and demanded, "Why are you telling us all this?" Gremory explained. "Yuri Maximoff, I have been watching your memories and your stage. This dimensional labyrinth is a game created by the demons and a giant stage for it. But you jumped off the stage and showed me your own story. Watching those figures, I came to love you." Gremory kissed Yuri's memories, making Yuri blush. "So please climb to the top." They all entered the next stage. A few moments later, Gremory looked into the distance. "Dantalion," she said. "So were you the real one on the stage?" Dantalion replied, "Originally, it should have been replaced with my doll, but I volunteered. I also like realistic plays. I know you are telling the truth to the players, Gremory, but that's okay. They have the same goal as us. Gremory, it is time to close the curtain on the play." Yun Taiyang suddenly steps on a bone and breaks it. A system notification says, "Stage 10-2, less than replay greater than difficulty 999,999 times." They all face the monsters. Yuri Maximoff says, "Yun Taiyang, remember what Dantalion said in the previous stage?" A flashback shows Dantalion telling Yun Taiyang and Yuri Maximoff, "I will use my power to return you to Earth if you grant me one request." Yuri Maximoff says, "Actually, there is one more message that you haven't read on the capsule." She says to herself, "The goal is set to climb to the top of this tower. That is the only way to clear this game and the labyrinth. Above it lies the engine that powers the labyrinth, a great power. Its name is Baal." Dantalion says to them, "Yun Taiyang and Yuri Maximoff, in the war that is about to happen, pierce the heart of Baal and all this will fall." In another scene, Biorim stops and looks at something in the sky. Trembling, she says, "Appa." Dark clouds circle the sky. In the game, Yun Taiyang continues his adventure with Yuri Maximoff and Solomon R. Crafter, and they run towards the tower. They manage to reach the boss stage. In the boss stage is a huge skeleton monster. Baal focuses on the game and continues to play alone. The game suddenly faces technical problems, and Baal gets frustrated, pressing hard on the controller. Baal stops playing, stands up, and says, "At least until the game is over, I wish you wouldn't interrupt me." Suddenly, demons gather around him. The Tower of Dimensions, with 72 demons from across the universe gathered for centuries. The demons' initial goals for gathering in the tower were different. Some wanted to absorb all the souls in the tower into their own power. Some wanted to expand their own territories. And some wanted to challenge the tower itself and reach the top. Others simply wanted to rule over others for their own amusement. Simply put, demons are beings who prioritize their own desires. They spend their entire lives fighting wars, taking lives, accumulating power, and cultivating absolute strength in pursuit of their goals. They have always followed their own darkness. That is the belief and reason for the existence of the demons. However, for the first time in centuries, their goals were aligned in one direction by the persuasion of a single demon. A system notification says, "Judgment Spear of the Demon, a demonic artifact with the power to destroy dimensions, containing the soul power of 66 demons. The demons look at the arena where they attack Baal. It is as Dantalion said. Originally, the dimensional gap acted like how a marine creature is on land and a land creature is in the ocean. It was the only line of defense that prevented the demons from crossing over to other dimensions at will. A ritual that Dantalion provided along with his persuasion. This ritual, modeled after Baal's divinity, connects the demons, allowing them to exert 100% of their power without the hindrance of the dimensional gap. No, rather it feels like the demons' powers have combined and become even stronger. Now, if we can just extract Baal's divinity, we can freely conquer not only the tower but all dimensions. Baal says, "Ah, I see. Dantalion, these are the last ingredients you needed." A demon says, "Ingredients?" Suddenly, the demons feel something in their heads, and simultaneously, their heads pop off. Blood rains in the arena. Baal walks into the arena, stops, breathes silently, and says, "Stop, come out, Dantalion." I'm starting to get angry. As the demons continue to spray blood in the arena, magic circles form on their decapitated bodies. Dantalion hovers in the sky with a book. Dantalion says, "Fighters who have become too dulled by being soaked in peace. It wasn't like this in the past, but now too many of them have become obstacles. Isn't it beneficial to be used like this?" Baal says, "You're wise. It's the only way to oppose me." Suddenly, Dantalion says, "Now that it's just the two of us, it brings back old memories, Baal." She comes down to the arena, and multiple spears with eyes appear behind her back. She stands silently and says, "Shall we have some fun?" Back with Yun Taiyang and the gang, they defeat the giant skeleton boss as it collapses to the ground along with its skeleton army. Yuri Maximoff exhales and says, "I'm feeling nostalgic. You guys were pretty good back there. I won't get in the way." Solomon, our crafter, says that'll be really helpful. Rand notices something and says, "Taiyang, do you have something to tell us?" "Tell us." Solomon, our crafter, waits for Yun Taiyang to speak. Yun Taiyang crushes a bone in his hand and says, "Solomon, Rand, we need your help." Back in the arena explodes, shattering the floor, and it continues to explode. Dantalion says, "Let's play then," and uses her spears to attack Baal. Her spears rush towards Baal, and when they are about to hit him, he uses his dimensions to redirect the spears throughout different worlds, causing massive chaos in each world. Baal closes the dimensions after the attacks and says, "Enough with this, Dantalion. I'm not in the mood for this." Dantalion says, "I'm sad that you're not accepting the things I prepared for you. You'll accept at least this one, right?" She shoots a giant spear at the arena. Baal sighs, uses his powers, and lets out multiple monsters from different dimensions to block the giant spear of Dantalion. The spear pierces through the monsters and continues towards Baal, eventually hitting the arena. Dantalion looks at the arena, waiting silently for the dust to clear. Suddenly, a huge dimension cracks open, swallows the spear, and transports it to another dimension. Dantalion sees Baal sitting on the ground, the dimension opening from his own body. Dantalion says, "That is truly the power of the dimension itself. You are truly desirable." Baal, sitting on the ground, replies, "Do you think you can handle it?" Suddenly, Dantalion sees her spears coming towards her, and she is instantly hit by multiple spears, coughing as they tear her apart. Baal looks at Dantalion from a distance and stands up. Dantalion starts laughing. In the sky, a book appears, and Dantalion continues laughing. The book speaks, saying, "As expected, Baal, the time spent with you has been enjoyable. That's why it's even more regretful." Possessing the power to destroy a single dimension, an omen of dimensional destruction extracted from the demons, calamities piled upon calamities, a single great annihilation created by combining 10,000 calamities. Omen of destruction. Baal says to himself, a technique that burns down an entire dimension to annihilate the enemy. Even if you destroy an entire dimension, you won't be able to extract the resources. A huge fireball approaches the arena. A ridiculously ignorant and inefficient power only to kill me. "Since when have you been accumulating this power?" Dantalion responds, "Since the first time I met you." Baal laughs and says, "I can't help but be drawn to it." Half of his body changes into a dimension. The giant fireball gets closer and hits the arena, causing a giant explosion that lights up other dimensions. Biorim hugs her lady warrior as the orcs look at the intense light in the sky. Biorim says to himself, "What is this loud sound? The entire stage is shaking." That is, they see a beam of light coming from the sky, and from the light, an object travels down. Baal's dimension, which collided with the omen of destruction, undergoes explosive expansion and contraction at the speed of light, causing Baal's lifespan to fluctuate between 1 second and 0 seconds continuously. Baal's body, constantly repeating regeneration and destruction, expansion and contraction, falls to the bottom of the tower. Baal says, "It's a shame, Dantalion. One hit wasn't enough. It seems like I have no choice but to go down to the bottom of the tower and reorganize it. It's been a long time since I had this much fun, Dantalion. Suddenly, Baal notices something. A game sprite of Yun Tai-yang is approaching him fast, preparing to punch Baal. Baal says, "Final blow." Yun Tai-yang punches Baal in the air, and the beam of light intensifies. Yun Tai-yang lands on the ground, holding a crystal ball. Yun Tai-yang says, "This is the engine that powers the labyrinth, Baal's divinity." Dantalion says, "You did well, Yun Tai-yang." Yun Tai-yang, holding the divinity of Baal, says, "Dantalion." He thinks to himself, "Hot like living life, heavy like a rock. This is the engine that powers the labyrinth. The sacredness of Baal." Dantalion laughs and says, "This is ridiculous. Don't worry, it will take time, but he will recover soon. The same goes for this tower. Now, give me the sacredness of Baal. Once you hand it over, everything will be over." Yun Tai-yang is silent for a moment and then says, "Over? You mean this is all it takes for everything to be over?" He looks at the divinity of Baal. "As promised, we will return you and Yuri Maximoff to Earth. Of course, your sister Biorim too. That was why you entered this tower, wasn't it?" Yun Tai-yang whispers, "If that's the case, what about Solomon and Ran, the knights and the orcs? What will happen to the other players from different dimensions who entered this tower?" Dantalion thinks silently and then smiles. Yun Tai-yang says, "I knew it. If over means abandoning them and returning safely, I don't think my sister will like it. I don't like that either. Now is the time, Ran, Yuri Maximoff." They appear on top of Dantalion. Dantalion says, "This is a negotiation breakdown, right?" Ran and Yuri Maximoff say to themselves, "Dantalion's main body is after the book." The book hovers, and they attack Dantalion, causing a huge explosion. Dantalion laughs as his body explodes, saying, "You both seem very skilled. It would be a shame to die here in the tower, wouldn't it?" Solomon R. Crafter says, "Shut up." Solomon R. Crafter tries to get the book and says, "And take this." A system notification says, "Solomon's seal lock." Solomon R. Crafter lands on the ground and says, "It's a space sealing spell that randomly moves the coordinates. I can only hold him for a short time." "Hurry!" Ran looks at the seal, and a system notification says, "The Storm Spirit Monarch Arashil inhabits the body of player Yun Tai-yang. Duration, 60 seconds. Ran shouts, "Go now, Yun Tai-yang." Yun Tai-yang says, "Okay." Ran uses her wind magic, Whirlwind Pillar, to boost Yun Tai-yang with the divinity of Baal in his hand. Yun Tai-yang fluke, feeling intense resistance. This is an incredible resistance, he thought to himself. It's the gravity of a different dimension, and Baal's divinity is slowly melting. It's hot like the sun. Stay calm. I can't just stop here. I'm breaking through to the top. Just a little bit more. Suddenly, wings sprouted from his shoulder blades. A system notification said, "Player Yun Tai-yang's dragon power is activated." Another system notification said, "Player Yun Tai-yang breaks through the 45th floor." Another system notification said, "Player Yun Tai-yang breaks through the 49th floor." Another system notification said, "Player Yun Tai-yang breaks through the 54th floor." Another system notification said, "Player Yun Tai-yang breaks through the 60th floor." Yun Tai-yang continued to ascend towards the top. Solomon R. Crafter clutched his head with his fingers, grunting as his nose bled. He suddenly shouted at Ran and Yuri Maximoff, "Both of you run! The seal is broken!" From the seal, 3 spears pierced the stomachs of Yuri Maximoff, Ran, and Solomon R. Crafter. They all screamed in pain, spitting blood. Dantalion said, "Through the hole pierced in the tower, they break through to the top." A predictable yet ignorant choice. He walked out of the portal, holding the book. "However, do you dare to withstand the sacred power of Baal?" He summoned a spear towards Yun Tai-yang. The spear approached Yun Tai-yang quickly, hitting him and piercing his shoulders, stopping his ascent. "What a pity," Dantalion said. "Even though I gave you one last chance, humans. Fall all the way to the bottom of the tower, Yun Tai-yang." Suddenly, another pair of wings opened up, and Dantalion was shocked. A dimension opened around Yuri Maximoff, Ran, and Solomon R. Crafter. A huge dragon flew in the beam of light, and Dantalion looked at the dragon in shock, shouting, You! The dragon approached Yun Taiyang and opened its mouth to catch him. A voice said to Yun Taiyang, "You were recklessly acting without fear. You're stupid. But I like that you got the better of that Dantalion bastard." In the mouth of the dragon, Yun Taiyang ran. Yuri Maximoff and Solomon Arkraptor sat, looking at the demon talking. The demon said to them, "From now on, this body will accompany you." It was Balak and his dragon. Dantalion shouted angrily, "Back!" Balak looked at the angry Dantalion and said, "Dantalion, I want to beat your behind, but it's not the right time." Balak used fireballs to attack Dantalion, causing the ground to explode. Suddenly, Yun Taiyang woke up and got up from bed. Ran was worried and said, "Yun Taiyang!" Yuri Maximoff looked at him. Ran got closer to him in bed and said, "Are you awake?" Yuri Maximoff said, "You have been asleep for a while." Yun Taiyang asked, Are you all safe?" He held his head in pain. Ran replied, "Yeah, we survived. We were pretty badly injured by Dantalion, though. They treated us." They all looked at the sexy dragon ladies bandaging Solomon Arkraptor, who screamed, "Ah, it hurts! It hurts!" The dragon ladies looked at Yun Taiyang, and he felt pain in his shoulders. He said, "Where the hell?" He looked at his hands and was shocked. "The sacredness of Baal is still in my hands." Balak entered the room and the sexy dragons ran towards him, hiding behind his back. Balak said, "Remain calm. With the weak body of a mortal, it will be quite burdensome to handle the sacredness of Baal." He looked at them silently. Yun Taiyang asked, "Balak, are you the one who saved us?" Balak replied, "Don't be mistaken. I didn't just help you. I came to meet Yun Taiyang, the representative of Earth, as the dragon's monarch." He extended his hand and Yun Taiyang looked at him silently. Balak said, "Make a contract with me, Yun Taiyang." Outside, multiple giant dragons were flying around the whole area. Balak continued, "At the top of the tower of 72 floors in this dimension's labyrinth, there is an altar. It's a supergiant dimensional gate created by Baal. The activation conditions of the gate are the sacredness of Baal, and a trained soul capable of withstanding the gate's pressure. Yes, if you've reached the top of the tower, you've proven your qualifications as a player. Yun Taiyang, possessing Baal's sacredness, with your current self, you can activate the gate. If you activate the gate, you can return to your original dimension, and you guys too. However, the gate on the ND floor is essentially a device that creates a rift in the dimension." Solomon Arkraptor said, "A rift in the dimension?" Balak continued, "Yes, it's a huge rift large enough for dozens of demons to come and go without any problem. In fact, the gate is a door for dimension invasion. In other words, if you return, it means that the labyrinth, other dimensions and Earth will be connected." Ran said, "Dimensions becoming connected?" Solomon Arkraptor said, "That means," Yun Taiyang said, "even after we return, Dantalion can still come over to other dimensions at any time." "Balak, you too." Balak was silent and then laughed. "Don't worry, maggots. My goal is to make the Tower of the Labyrinth my territory. My race is growing more and more. They need a place to live. Yes, we need a larger territory." He played with a little dragon. The stages of the dimensional labyrinth have been constructed with the power of demons from various dimensions, providing an environment where ordinary life forms can survive. For dragons born in various terrains, it's truly the optimal nest. I, Balak, and the Dragon Legion swear on the heart of the dragon. If player Yun Taiyang succeeds in returning, Balak and the dragons under him will not invade Earth or any other dimensions. The goal is Dantalion's death. The reward I offer is a more powerful dragon's power." Yun Taiyang suddenly felt pain, and Ran was worried. "Taiyang!" she exclaimed. Yun Taiyang looked at his arms and said to himself, "I'm being eroded by Baal's sacredness." Balak said, "If you enhance your body with the power of the dragon as before, even your weak mortal body should be able to withstand Baal's sacredness. However, if that happens, the link to your real body could weaken. Can you handle that?" Yun Taiyang replied, "It's a power I've used several times already. It's not something I haven't tried before." Balak said, "How presumptuous. Then, let's try it. Accept the power, Yun Taiyang." In the chat room, people discussed what was happening inside the labyrinth. They said, if the trapped earthlings in the dimensional labyrinth return, Earth will also change like the dimensional labyrinth. Right. Did I understand correctly? Shouldn't the United States government seriously try to stop Yun Taiyang? We have to crack Yun Taiyang's capsule code. This is self-defense. Are you all crazy? Just because you think Yun might be in danger, you want to kill 300 million in the game. When I think about my family trapped in the capsule, the story changes. If the government doesn't step in, I'll stop him myself. In the news, it was reported that at 10 p.m. on June 30th in New York, a giant monstrous creature had fallen in the city, causing casualties exceeding 3 million people. At Yun Taiyang's house, Yeonhae watched the news. "Taiyang, are you really okay with this? Can you handle it?" she asked. Suddenly, she was shocked and looked at the door as the police entered. One police officer said into his radio, "We have arrived at the target destination, Yun Taiyang's residence." Another officer said, "We will secure the target," their boss said over the radio. "If he resists, extract the capsule's code. Hurry!" Ha Yeonhae stood in shock as she listened to the police. She was suddenly grabbed by the police and protested, "Wait, what are you doing? Don't touch that capsule." The police approached the capsule and said, "We found the target right now." The police stopped, and one of them said, "Captain." The captain responded, "What's going on?" The police pressed something on the capsule and said, "Forcing termination of player Yun Taiyang's virtual reality capsule." Yeonhae begged the police, shouting, "No, don't! If you forcibly open it!" She cried in shock as the police stood silently looking inside the capsule. One of them said, "The capsule, it's empty." Back in the labyrinth, Dantalion's body was breaking apart. He sat silently on a rock, his pinky breaking off. "It seems it was too damaged from the previous battle," he said. "This body, I'll have to use them." The bodies of demons hovered around him with a book floating above. Back in Balak's stage, a demon girl closed her eyes, then opened them, looking afar. She and her dragon stood prepared, gazing into the distance as a beam of light pierced the sky. Demons hovered in the light. Dantalion said, "Yun Taiyang." All of the fallen demons appeared in the light. "If you just hand it over peacefully, you won't have to die a meaningless death," Dantalion said. The sexy lady dragon said in her native tongue, "Let's go," she shouted. "Show them the power of the dragon core." The dragon core charged towards the demons. The demons, all with Dantalion's head, silently looked at the dragons. Suddenly, a dragon ate one of the demons, and the battle began. Dantalion said, "If that's your choice," and his demons started to form their spears beside them. As he attacked the dragons with his spears, he said, "Then I'll grant your wish." Ran used her wind magic, and Solomon our crafter used his blue skill. Combining their powers, they used the vortex ice blast against Dantalion's spears. Dantalion was shocked and said, "This is..." A huge magic circle appeared blocking the spears. Suddenly, a blue dragon's wings flapped, and Solomon our crafter, Yuri Maximoff, and Ran rode dragons together. Ran excitedly said, "All right, dragons, let's go." She used her skill, Smooth Wind, to buff the dragon's speed. The dragons charged at the demons. Dantalion said, "Yun Taiyang, are you going to hide like a coward?" The demons raised their hands and charged their attacks simultaneously. Multiple attacks filled the sky, shocking Yuri Maximoff and Ran. Solomon our crafter said, "Damn it, we're trapped." Dantalion said, "Do I have to kill these rats to get you out, Yun Taiyang?" He prepared to attack the dragons with his spears. Yun Taiyang suddenly stepped on a dragon and jumped towards Dantalion. Dantalion noticed Yun Taiyang from behind, and Yun Taiyang destroyed multiple demons with his punch. Dantalion laughed and said, "You've finally shown yourself." Everyone was shocked upon seeing Yun Taiyang. Solomon our crafter said, "That's the dragon power." Yun Taiyang shouted, "Dantalion, I'll beat your ass." In the sky, Dantalion watched the battle unfold. A demon beside him said, "Yun Taiyang, he's a dangerously sharp knife that Dantalion painstakingly crafted." The knife did achieve its initial purpose, but the blade of the knife is ultimately destined to turn against Dantalion himself. The knife was threatening, but Dantalion did not fear it. You have so much to lose. In the sky, numerous demons hovered, charging up their energy. Myolram, observing the battle, asked, "What is this?" a person shouted while carrying a lady. The enemies are coming. Block the front and protect the wounded. Suddenly, 3 demons with Dantalion's face appeared in front of him, but someone immediately smacked the demon. It was Blood Cloud, and he shouted, "Don't be afraid, they are not real." They all started to fight the demons. Dantalion, laughing, said, "Player Beolrim, if you hand her over, I'll spare all of you. Isn't the life you've held on to so far precious?" Beolrim's friend retorted, "Stop saying nonsense. Beolrim, run to a safe place." Beolrim said, "No, I'll fight too." She thought to herself, "The fact that Dantalion is targeting me means that my brother is a threat to Dantalion right now. So, I have to survive here to the best of my ability." Dantalion said, "You two really resemble each other, to the point of being pitiful. I'll fulfill your wish and erase you both from the stage." Dantalion created a huge fireball in the sky, and everyone looked at it in terror. It suddenly approached them. Beolrim closed her eyes and whispered, "Appa!" In her pocket was the strange doll that Solomon Arcraptor had given her. The doll suddenly opened its eyes, and a huge magic circle covered the entire camp. "This is," Beolrim exclaimed. In a flashback, Chimeras had said to Solomon Arcraptor, "Solomon, I will expand your abilities. But I have a request. I will create a train that constantly travels through dimensions. Would you be its engineer?" Suddenly, Beolrim and the others were on the train. It was the Endless Express train, and it transported them to safety. Solomon Arcraptor explained, "Originally, it was a marking doll used to record the coordinates of the starling, but with the addition of the demon's magic, it became a joint creation of the demon and me. When I first heard it, I thought it was insane, but the fact that this is really possible, a train that goes through dimensions. Yun Taiyang now. Go ahead and rampage to your heart's content," Solomon Arcraptor shouted. In the fight, Yun Taiyang rampaged through the demons, destroying them one by one with his punches. Ran used her fan to fight, while Yuri Maximoff rode a dragon, slashing demons with her sword. Solomon Arcraptor supported from a distance with his magic. The battle continued fiercely. Dantalion said, "Chimerius Balak, are you serious? Do you truly believe in these insignificant mortals? Do you think their lives are meaningful?" In the sky, demons wielding Dantalion's spears began killing humans one by one. On the battlefield, many humans had fallen. Solomon Arcraptor said, "Damn, he's spreading to every stage, attacking the players. He intends to kill all the players in the tower." As the Endless Express train moved away from the battle, Beolrim's friend watched and said, "People are in danger." Suddenly, Beolrim stepped out of the endless train and jumped. Her friend shouted, "Knighten him." Beolrim used her shield to block her fall, and with her light she incinerated the demons around her. "No more. I won't let anyone die in vain anymore," she declared. Dantalion said, "Then die with them," and the demons charged towards Beolrim. Suddenly they were cut into pieces. It was the beastman and Messiah. The beastman said, "Damn, even one was disgusting, but this is terrible." Messiah said to Beolrim, "Nice to meet you. You're Yun Taiyang's sibling, right? I've been watching your broadcast." Beolrim replied, "You know me?" Messiah said, "Well, since we're friends of Yun Taiyang." The beastman said, Not bad, human. You've been dodging since earlier." The 3 of them looked at the sky and said, "Should we take care of these things first?" They immediately started fighting the demons, cutting them one by one in half. The other warriors also fought, with many perishing in the battle. In another scene, a dragon was hit in its wings, creating a huge hole. The dragon screamed in pain and fell from the sky, as his dragon lady shouted, "Balak Nim," Gremory said. The existence of Dantalion splits into hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands of clones. His existence dominates the Tower of Dimensions. But don't be afraid. Even if he piles up tens of thousands of clones, even if he flips over thousands of masks, there is only one hidden truth in it. The demon. The demon of truth, Gremory. The fact that she can read the truth means she can try to change the predetermined fate. Gremory, with the eye of truth, vowed not to intervene in the fate and destiny of the world. The price for breaking the vow is eternal death. But it's okay, Yuri Maximoff. My fate will be entrusted to you. It's the first and the last gift I can give you. And she blessed Yuri Maximoff, who felt the power of Gremory. As she concentrated, she suddenly opened her eyes, tears streaming down her cheeks, which now changed color. "Thank you, Gremory," Yuri Maximoff whispered, preparing to throw her sword. Locking onto her target, she threw her sword with incredible speed, creating shock waves as it pierced everything in its path. It glowed brighter and faster, hitting the top of the tower and creating a huge hole before continuing onward. In the distance, Dantalion hovered in the sky and suddenly felt the sword approaching him. Shocked, he was struck in the chest and his book's eye was pierced. "How did it reach me outside the tower?" Dantalion exclaimed. Yun Taiyang flew quickly towards Dantalion, hovering in front of him. Looking down at Dantalion, "Don't make me laugh. How dare such a trivial existence?" The book opened its pages as Dantalion said, "How dare it wield the power of dimensions?" He summoned multiple attacks, but a coin appeared, emitting a bright light that cleared the area, much to Dantalion's shock. More coins appeared, covering the sky. "Mortals, their lives are finite, but that makes them strong and precious," Yun Taiyang declared as his fist turned to gold, charging up an attack. "Everyone has climbed this far with this one coin. I'll bet everything on this attack," and puts up his fist. Dantalion said, "What? That stance could it be? Martial arts?" And they faced each other. Dantalion said, "Are you trying to face me with your pathetic fist play?" And Dantalion screams and summons multiple demons beside him to attack Yun Taiyang. Yun Taiyang said, "This is more than just a fist fight." Yun Taiyang evades the attacks of Dantalion. And Dantalion laughs and said, "What can you do with the fist of a mere human like you?" Yun Taiyang charges his fist and moves forward to punch Dantalion as his fist glows in gold. Dantalion stands inside the intense golden light, and he looks at the approaching fist of Yun Taiyang. As his demons incinerates and said, "What? What?" Yun Taiyang said, "This fist belongs to me and to all of humanity and to a man, someone's friend, child, and someone's brother." One by one, the demons of Dantalion disintegrates from the intense golden light. Dantalion screams, saying, "Yun Taiyang, no!" Yun Taiyang said while he approached Dantalion with his fist. "A fist." And he rages forward to Dantalion and said, filled with rage, and he hits the face of Dantalion. Yun Taiyang followed up with multiple punches to Dantalion, making Dantalion break into pieces. Dantalion said, "This is ridiculous. My history accumulated over thousands and millions of years to disappear just like that under a human's fists. Oh, it was my mistake. I shouldn't have used him as a long-term pawn." In the battlefield, Biorim was surrounded by 3 demons, but they turned to ashes. The beastman and Messiah looked on as the demons disintegrated. Biorim realized all of Dantalion's clones have disappeared. From the sky, Yun Taiyang's golden wings appeared, and he gently transformed back to his original body, landing on the ground. Biorim rushed to him, catching him before he collapsed, and hugged him tightly. "Good job, Oppa," Biorim said, as Yun Taiyang smiled. The people shouted in joy, celebrating their victory. Messiah hugs the beastman in joy, and the people all over celebrate. Ran, Salman Arkraptor, and Yuri Maximoff hugs each other, and the dragons fly over the area as the people celebrates. The dragons landed in the city. Balak approached Yun Taiyang and remarked, "Quite impressive. Tara, take him to the top." At the top of the tower, a system notification announced Yun Taiyang's accomplishment. A system notification said, "Player Yun Taiyang has reached the top of the Dimension Tower, 72nd floor." Another system notification said, "The player has achieved a world-first accomplishment." A system notification said, "Clearing the divine coin of Shinkan." And Yun Taiyang tries to hold the crystal ball, and it glowed, and a system notification said, "Using the sanctity of dimensional movement." Another system notification said, "Activating dimensional ejection device." And another system notification said, "Activating the dimensional ejection device to return players to their dimension." As the people looked at the sky, Yun Taiyang declared, "All right, everyone, let's go home now." He grabs the ball tighter as its light intensifies. A beam of light shoots into the sky, beaming outside the tower, hitting the sky, and then exploding. Yun Taiyang said, "After that Earth, back in the city, people go on with their normal lives. Two ladies show each other their phones in the street as people cross the road. Suddenly, they notice something arriving. A huge chicken foot drops on the road. The people panic as a giant chicken rampages. The owner of the store cries out, "Ah! My chicken shop!" Two suited men say, "We're from the Gate Disaster Compensation Association." Yun Taiyang says, "The Gate era began on Earth. After the sun and the players returned to Earth, a crack appeared in the dimensional barrier that enveloped Earth, allowing creatures from dimensions outside Earth to enter. Humanity called them the Gates." Suddenly, a person walks in the street. He jumps into the air over the huge chicken and steps on the head of the giant bird, using his skill Starburst Downward Strike. It crushes the giant chicken like a bug. Yun Taiyang says, as Earth connected with other dimensions, humans who could see the status windows in reality and use the system of dimensional dungeons in reality appeared. Yun Taiyang wipes off the stains of the chicken on his suit and says, "That's all sorted out. I was told to take care of it cleanly." He says to himself, humanity calls them players. In another scene, people protest outside a building with signs reading, "Yun Taiyang is innocent. Condemn the government for sacrificing 300 million lives. Is it logical to find him guilty when he saved 300 million lives? Yun Taiyang is innocent. No condemnation. Yun Taiyang is innocent." Yun Taiyang stands in front of the court and the judge says, "The defendant opened the gate on Earth and is accused of posing a fatal threat to humanity." He stands silently. The judge asks, "Do you admit to the facts of the verdict, defendant?" Yun Taiyang just looks at the judge silently. The judge begins to deliver the verdict when suddenly, dragons barge into the courtroom. The dragons scream at them, and the people panic, shouting, "It's a dragon!" Balak laughs and says, "Stop joking around. Who threatened whom? If it weren't for him, Earth would have already turned into a dragon food-rearing area. Isn't that right?" Yun Taiyang, laughing, says, "You came to help, right?" Yun Taiyang says to himself, when the first gates opened on Earth, there was criticism of Yun Taiyang. But Taiyang easily dealt with several huge gates around the world, and he had become a hero representing humanity in no time. In the news, a reporter says, "Player Yun Taiyang has once again cleared a gate." This time, it was a huge gate that occurred in Hyundai, Busan. Fortunately, there were no casualties. Biorim casually eats cookies while watching the news and says, "Appa, you've been through a lot since we came back here." Suddenly, someone rings the doorbell, and Biorim says, "Huh? I don't expect anyone to come." She opens the door before asking, "Who is it?" It is the waitress of Yun Taiyang, Hyun-hye, Ran, and Yuri Maximoff. Ran says, "Excuse me, is this Yun Taiyang's residence?" Yuri Maximoff joyfully says, "Excuse me, I brought chicken." There was a gate opened in front of a chicken restaurant on the way here. Hyun-hye looks frustrated at the other girls of Yun Taiyang. Biorim is silently confused, her mind racing. Biorim says to them, "This might take a while to explain," and joyfully adds, "Anyway, please come in, everyone." In another scene, Yun Taiyang visits their parents' urns labeled Yun Won-woo and Lee Han-woo. Yun Taiyang says, "This time, I protected Biorim, so both of you can rest in peace now," and pays respects to their parents silently. Suddenly, his phone rings with an emergency disaster message saying, "Gangnam-gu office. Gate occurrence at Gangnam Station, exit." Yun Taiyang says, "Another one. I'm going." He receives another call from Biorim. Yun Taiyang says, "My younger sister Biorim, what is it now? Do you want me to buy you some snacks again?" She says, "Appa, I'm really curious. Which one is it? Ran Uni, Hyun-hye Uni, Yuri Maximoff Uni? Decide like a man." It hits Yun Taiyang like a bullet in the head. Yun Taiyang says, "I get what's going on. I'll talk with you about it once I get home." He sighs, looks at the sky smiling and says, "All right, shall I get going now?" Before we wrap up today's video, I just wanted to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you who has supported this channel by hitting the subscribe button and leaving those fantastic likes. Your encouragement means the world to me. Now, I've noticed that we have an incredible 83.9% of viewers who haven't yet hit that subscribe button and only 16.2% who have. To those of you who haven't subscribed yet, but enjoy what you see, I'd like to extend a warm invitation to join our wonderful community by subscribing. Your support helps fuel the creation of more content that you love. And to all of my subscribers, you're the backbone of this channel, and I can't thank you enough for your loyalty and enthusiasm. Remember, if you're enjoying the content and want more, hitting that subscribe button is the best way to show your support. I genuinely appreciate each and every one of you, and I mean it when I say I love you all. If you're interested in knowing the title, feel free to drop a comment below and I'll be more than happy to share it with you. Until next time, take care and keep spreading those positive vibes.